hopefully can shift that mentality going into that next series. But we have one more series on the day. This one feels a little familiar, everybody. Last match, and the only North American team in the stage is facing elimination at the hands of Liberty. What can Immortals do to avoid the same fate as Sentinels faced last week?
Honestly, they have to make sure that they can shadow Manu Fritze. The way that Manu Fritze keeps Liberty getting these early leads, rather, is going to be very important. The next thing you know, he's going to be top lane. Next thing you know, he's going to be mid lane. He's going to be everywhere. So there's that big pressure to match and shadow him in the early game.
There's one thing that's different from the last time we saw Immortals as well, and that's that this time they'll have their full roster. We have Hoon, we have Iraqi Zoro back in the mix, and as we've just seen with Flash Wolves back on their full roster, you expect that to provide a buff. The problem is the kind of buff it provides is individual duels. Not only does Hoon need to be a part of this team, he needs to perform as he did regionally, which means getting duelist carries, finding 1v1s, and winning them in lane, in the jungle, as quick as possible.
This should be good news for Immortals having Hoon back on the starting roster. Unfortunately, starting didn't quite look up to snuff in their last showing. So hopefully this is a better look for Immortals, but I have to remind everybody, Brazil is just the kryptonite of North America. It just keeps happening that we match up against them in these groups at the international stage. There's TSM versus Tribeback and Horizon Cup, and now it's Liberty twice. And I'm just so nervous for this. Riku, give me the hopium for Immortals. The NA fan. What can I do? I'm gonna make you explain this because I don't know if I can do it justice.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So.
Now remember that there are like a weird amount of North American fans who've just woken up. They're starting their morning. Sell it to them. Look into that camera.
I'll be gentle with this one. I mean, there is a very big chance that Liberty is going to take this series. But
that's not what I wanted, Riku. That was the opposite.
Kill him, Riku.
That was the opposite of what was requested.
I said big chance. I said big chance.
Okay. All right. All right.
Small chance for Immortals to take this.
Give you a second chance right now.
It's coming. It's coming. I swear. I swear.
Right.
Okay. Conditions. Kona and Kinzen. Match them with mid and jungle. Shut them down early. You get the series.
Okay.
And you get to save your beard.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I needed to hear, that I can save the beard going forward. Now, TJ, I'm going to give you this one from the side of Liberty. What are their win conditions here?
Well, the people who are going to take your beard are on your screen right now. Because we've been talking about the way that Immortals want to find picks, the way that they have these really strong individual players who are good at finding duelists. Well, on the opposite side of things, Liberty have played the macro so well. They know how to force fights, they know how to avoid those individual picks, they have great vision game, and they roam as a team. They conglomerate around major objective fights and force them. IMT are going to have to win 5v5s, and that has never been their strength as a team, even regionally.
Uphill battle. But let's take a look at who we expect to take this one. Rico, I think I already know yours based on what you had said. TJ!
Pretty much.
No faith.
No faith?
Sorry, dude.
I'm going to scoot over a little bit.
Sorry, dude.
I'm not going to do that because they're going to get mad at me for moving the chair. But okay, I'm just going to say this. I know that his prediction's not on the screen, but I'm calling right now. Degon at home. Rafa, I see you back there. Everybody, except for TJ from the WNS, probably rooting for Immortals. Should be hoping that they pick up this victory.
What can I say?
We have to beat Brazil at least once.
What can I say? TJ actually stands for really good prediction rate.
Really?
TJ, I'm trying to figure that one out.
we shouldn't try.
TJ's mind
stands for.
is an enigma. I don't know if we have the capabilities to understand that, but it's a grudge match for at least from the North American side here, hoping to pick up our first international win up against Brazil. This would be historic if they can do it. I hear the players behind us on stage screaming their heads off already. They're ready to get into it. So let's send it back over to Grandin and Omo to get us into game number 1.
Thank you very much there, Kangas, and a very good prediction rate, Thomas James.
What did he predict today?
He predicted Liberty.
Okay.
Well, a lot of things here. I have to go through a lot of things, right? So not only is this an elimination match here, right? This is a big
Grudge
chance
match.
here for NA to take a win finally off of Brazil. We also have Kangas' beard on the line. The biggest stakes of them all.
We can't forget about that one.
Look, it's warm in Singapore, so he won't miss it, but he's going back to the US with Immortals. And so
Hey, you can't say that, Brandon. You can't say that just yet, but we'll have to see how this one plays out because it's gonna be a very.
it's cold there, Omo. He needs
It's
it.
winter in the States right now.
I don't know. I'm just making a stretch.
Well,
It's a
we're
joke.
from sunny Singapore. It's always
Yeah, we won't
hot
think
here.
about that. But I will say this. I am actually really liking Immortals' chances here. Honestly,
Well-
going into this one, I'm actually
Yeah.
going to give it to Immortals.
Okay. I don't remember asking, but okay. We'll have to see how this one plays out. I do think it's going to be a very close one. I think we might get a third 3-game series today. Liberty, of course, looked really good at times. They had their on moments. And Immortals, I think even in their losses yesterday or the day before, I can't quite keep track at this point, they still had good moments too. I was particularly impressed by Charm and Zello coming in as a replacement for this team as well. I think he had a good job. He nearly solo killed multiple times in his lane too.
Absolutely.
Charm though, here's his work cut out for him. He's up against Man of Reason, who has been a key carry player for the side of Liberty.
And that's something we want to watch out for. The ability for Men of Reason to find activity on the map throughout the game as we move forward. A big part to mention as well is the fact that Hoon is playing for the side of
Yeah,
Immortals,
he's back.
right? Rafa came over, made sure that we knew about this guy, right? And there's so much to be said, but I'll give you guys the cliff notes. Rafa can break it down for you guys in detail. You guys go and check out what he has to say about this. But the fact that Hoon's coming in here, replacing starting, they get closer towards their main roster to get to have that control again from the mid lane, being able to have a mechanically strong player with a chance to make those big plays to turn the game around.
Yeah, and of course, Hoon, he mentioned, steps up when the pressure is on as well, so the pressure is definitely on today. Elimination match for all of these teams, tournament lives online, and you know, you set out the stakes very well here, granted, but I do believe there's one more stake we have to consider. And this would be any second win at Icons, right? That's,
wow.
That's something.
That's
That's something.
I don't know what you're trying to do here, Omo. That
It's
sounds
pretty big. I'm trying to be complimentary, but
I
think
don't
people
know,
just don't
Omo. This
expect
is
it.
like kind of backhanded, like from you, especially. I don't know if I don't know if Immortals can accept that.
Well, let's see if Immortals... Okay, I don't know where I was going with that one. But Lucian Senna, off to a good start here. We saw the power of Senna Nasus in the last game from the Flash Wolves. That means Lucian will be going solo lane for Hoon or Zello. I expect going to Hoon, potentially flexing it into the Cocky matchup. So far this entire tournament, we've
Oh
seen
my
the Cocky
goodness.
win the side of the matchup.
You left this up?
every single time.
You
The
left this
trash
up?
is up
Against Man of Frieze?
Let's see if Immortals have an answer to that then.
Surely. They must have something
They
in
know
mind.
it's coming.
Anyone could have seen this one coming.
It's one of his most impactful picks for people new to Liberty, for people new to the Men of Reason trash. He's going to be a playmaker with it. He's going to be all over the map with it. And Kinzin on that Olaf as well. That's going to be a very strong dynamic duo for the Liberty jungle support.
I mean, a big part of this was also Immortals banning away the Karma and Yuumi, taking away a lot of the power and agency for the Olaf. That being said, there are still options available. They've left open the Thresh, and that gives the chance over the Men of Frieze to find work done. Immortals, on the other hand, they have some skilling going on. We've seen how well Senna Nasus was able to get into the late game. Immortals would not pick up the Nasus yet. They go for the Kha'Zix first instead.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting draw scenario playing out for Immortals right now. Kha'Zix is a good matchup into the Olaf. You can isolate the Cocky too. It's a good pickup all in all. But if you think about what you really want right now on the side of IMT, you need to pick up two things. One, a combo pairing with Senna. They have options for that. There's 3 picks available.
Sure.
But they also need to pick up some sort of frontliner to run in with the team that will likely be up to Zello. Maybe a Wukong run back.
Highly specified preparation against Liberty with the Veigar, man.
Yeah, Vega is a thing that's getting banned now at Icons. That's where we are in the meta right now.
That's what life is. That's what reality is. And you know what? It's actually been winning games. So
yeah,
kind
it
of
nearly beat
well-deserved.
FPX.
It nearly beat FPX.
Tiny Master of Evil. Sleeper pick perhaps at Icons. We'll have to see, but not this game. Senna Nasus not going to be available. Senna Gragas, Senna Galio. Both still options for Gume and Charm. Let's see
Even
what they
Senna
wanna go
Set,
for.
depending on how far down the ladder you want to go
Sure,
to.
but
if
they
there are
don't have
tanks.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against the
Fortunately.
Olaf, it's a lot less value, for sure.
I think this is good. Liberty identify correctly that, you know what, if we ban Galio, he plays Gragas. We ban Gragas, he plays Galio. So as long as we get rid of the Nasus, we're good to go.
There we go. The Greg is likely in the pairing together with the Senna. Liberty, they still have a couple more picks to try and go for. Might be a bot laner, might be a mid laner, but also that Baron side. What do they want to try and play for, right? Freaks, he's had some good mechanical moments, but they've alternated him between the tanks and the bruises and the hyper carries. So we'll have to see what Liberty want to try and go for in game number 1.
Let's see indeed. There's a lot open for Liberty right now. They have a lot of options with their draft. That's good. It's a very flexible draft setup. Only thing I think they would be concerned about is they need dive buddies for Olaf. You don't want Olaf to be running in dry here. He doesn't have an enchanted to support him, so he needs a dive buddy instead. He gets that in the form of the Riven. And the package, well, you can count that too.
The Riven comes in to give some support over Liberty, so it's not just going to be the Olaf alone. Immortals are looking to see how they want to respond with their last pick as well after seeing what Liberty have in store for them.
Yeah.
Liberty coming into this
Okay.
with the Orianna, all right, something interesting. Some control mage, potentially.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily say which side it's going. Could
Okay.
be mids or bots still, I think.
Yeah, I kind of like this, but I kind of don't like this. Let's try to break this one down a little bit, right? What's good about the Orianna pickup? You finally have some support for the Olaf. You're not an Enchanter, but you can put the shield on him. You can speed him up. If he runs in, you can shockwave off of the Olaf. Problem is, Orianna has a really tough matchup into Lucian in the early stages that could potentially let Lapmon and Hoon take over the game. And we've heard a lot of good things about Hoon. Now his debut on the Icons Global Championship stage. Let's see what he can pull off here.
Yeah, especially with that high damage shots. You talked about Zello, talked about Charm.
Yeah.
They will have quite a bit of agency, but a lot of the damage will come from Lemon and Hoon.
I actually really like Zello's pick as well. I feel like the Garen is something they were sorely needing. They needed a tank, they needed a frontliner to run in, lead the charge with the Senna supporting you. Garen 100% fills that role. Pretty decent matchup into Riven, and that executes always nice against Olaf, who tends to play on low health.
This is it. One more match for the day. One more team heading back today in the Icons Global Championship. Will it be Immortals or Liberty? We'll have to find out.
After today, I do believe that leaves us with 12 teams, Grandin.
Yeah.
Final 12.
And then tomorrow,
Final 8.
there we go.
Not quite the impact I think we were hoping for there. Final 12. Okay, that's still kind of a lot of teams.
Yeah. We consider the fact that we've had 24 teams.
Yeah, that's true. We've halved it. But okay, let's make it a little bit more impactful here. The last hope for NA.
Immortals. Here we have it. Game number 1 starting off against Liberty. And we have so many expectations. Hoon making his debut on an international stage. He's working on a champion that has a lot of playmaking potential. But at the same time, we've seen how it can deviate. If you go for the Howlbreaker, you're looking to try and play for the side instead.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to go for here. I'm not a big fan of the Howlbreaker Lucian, but sometimes it is a necessity. Fortunately, he's not playing against Howlbreaker Koki. We'll be side laning likely against Orianna. Marksman Koki won't be going for the Howlbreaker, thankfully, so we're good to go here. And now we see that both Dragon Laners jostling for control over the wave. It's extremely close right now.
We saw a good amount of damage from Triple V's Corki in game number 2 and even in game 3.
Nice trade.
Wasn't as far ahead, but still had quite a bit. And so maybe some late game scaling options there for Liberty. Let's talk a little bit about what we kind of expect here. Very early on, Liberty showed their hand with the Olaf. Immortals respond with the Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
And we know how much of an impactful player Kinzen can be when he gets ahead. What a Liberty can try and get done with the Olaf.
Oh, that hook, Manafrize starts things off strong.
I mean, that's exactly what we expect here from Manafrize on the Thresh. The exhaust will prevent a kill from coming across, but Liberty start off with control.
That hook just curved behind the minion wave there. IMT starting off a little bit on the back foot. I think if you look at both of these team comps, they've got a lot of power in the early game. Olaf gives you a lot of power, Trash gives you a lot of power, package timings as well on the side of Liberty. But the counterpoint is you then have the scaling from the Koki, you have the scaling from the Orianna, and we know what late game Riven can do. We've seen it from Zhong earlier today as well. On the side of IMT, Garen's extremely tanky in the late game. He cannot be killed, I think, by most champions on the side of Liberty. And of course, you've got the Senna scaling. It's not a Senna Nasus, sure, but Gragas is going to get very tanky as well.
But we have some side laning power from Liberty here as well, right? Zello, while he might be quite tanky, is going to look to try and be with the rest of his team. And so you could see, like, he freaks off in the side lane by himself, maybe even Kinzen off the side lane.
If you're wondering why the Garen into a Riven is a good matchup, you just saw why. Once you get Silence, Riven has like 5 spells, 6 spells, but you can't use a single one of them. You can't weave autos behind your spells because you're silenced. If you try to trade back on Garen, he pops his second skill, he walks away.
Immortals will go into this early game in a very even state, pulling just ever so slightly ahead. But let's start talking about and setting up for what happens in the next couple of minutes.
Oh my goodness. There were 3 creeps there and Hood missed all of them, and then he called them. Okay. Did he even get the last cannon?
That's not the point here, Omo. That's not the point. The point is...
It's not important, but it's just something you see and you're like, ah, Oh,
The
unfortunate.
point is,
Yes, what is the point, Grandin? Fill me in here.
what happens?
Nothing?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
well,
we're in a pretty chill game state right
that's
now.
a good point. That's a good point.
We're in a pretty chill game state right now. We've already established neither one of these teams really feel a need to make a play. You have decent scaling on both of these teams. You're happy waiting for the first objective spawns to come up. And we saw as well, game 3 between Flash Wolves and BRU. When you're in an elimination game, you tend to play a little bit slower. You tend to be a bit more cautious because your life is on the line here. Both of these teams know it. And game 1 between Liberty and Immortals starting off a little bit slower.
I mean, this makes perfect sense when I look at Immortals, right? You have
Sure.
Gumi and Chom in the bot side. You have the Santa Gragas. It's going to keep scaling. It's going to keep going. Of course, you're going to have more damage with Ledmon later on. But on the side of Liberty, do they manage to keep up? Do they manage to hold on and scale just as well as the Immortals do?
I think the concern for Liberty really comes from the Olaf. That's a champion that gets completely outscaled later on in the game. You could make an argument that Hoon's Lucian will also fall off in scaling, but culling will always be a long-range tool available to you. Now they're setting up for a dive on Zello, but they know this on the side of IMP. They have the Dawning Shadows. They have backup coming.
Yeah, 3 towards the top end, but Immortals know this is coming, and so they sent Ledmon and
Okay.
Gumi up to the top side.
Yeah, just a pretty slow game state so far. Hoon did indeed pick up the Howlbreaker, and that's going to be a pretty unmatched Lucian on the side lane. I think he's pretty happy playing into either Orianna or Riven at this point in the game, so Hoon should be a consistent pressure point for the Immortal squad now.
I think I already saw Kangus's shaver for his beard.
Okay?
I think he
You have
has
no
it with
faith
him.
in Lucian?
No, I'm just saying I think he has it with him.
He has it with him. I've seen it.
Yeah. I think he's ready.
You have to be mentally prepared. I don't
Hope
think
you never have to use it, right?
Hopefully you never have to use it. Yeah, exactly. Have it, but hope you don't have to use it.
He saved it for quite a while.
20 seconds right now till the first set of objective spawns. 4 items getting completed from both of these teams, but Immortals do have 2 sets of Howlbreakers. That means
Okay.
that team fighting prowess a little bit lacking.
There we go. I mean, it's kind of what we expected when you have the mid Lucian. The Howlbreaker comes through.
Yeah, but then Garen shouldn't pick up Howlbreaker. I mean, I just never really like having 2 Howlbreakers because you can't 1-3-1 forever. You have to fight for objectives.
There we go. You're so far ahead that you will 1-3-1, and you get grouped back up as 5, and then you win the game.
Well, Ledmon is starting off the Dragon, and Liberty are way too slow. Where are Liberty?
They have plenty of vision
Where are
around
you,
this,
Liberty?
though. Boss is over by the bot side. Now he has the package, but it looks like IMT will pick up this Dragon in time. There we
No,
go.
but Liberty are just starting off the Rift Herald, and Immortals have already finished the Dragon.
But it does
But
not
Immortals
seem-
don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Immortals are here to try and contest
Man.
this as well. Rift Herald should just go over
But they
to
do
Liberty.
know there's a ward. But why? It's a bit unfortunate. I feel
We
like
don't
they
fight early. We don't fight. That's not what we do.
We're chilling out here.
We're chilling out.
It's a bit of a change of pace considering the bloodbath that we saw in the last series. Both teams unwilling to give up a single objectives, and now gentleman's agreement. We're seeing a handshake between Liberty and Immortals. We're gonna come down to the late game scaling, I believe here.
They were fighting for a lot there last game. Now it's just who gets stuff done.
But this is good news for Immortals, at least in the context of the current game state, because double Howlbreaker means they are happy playing you on the side lanes. They're just gonna try to trade, and eke out an advantage somewhere.
Oh wait, you said last game that you hate slow games.
I do.
So what's happening now?
No, I still hate it. I'm just trying to make it sound like I don't hate it. But slow games
Well, you're
are
convincing
the
me.
worst. We're here to embrace the wild side. Where's the wild side, boys?
The wild side is that there are no kills at 6.5 minutes.
That is pretty wild, actually. It is pretty wild.
It's
It's not
no
a
one
WCK
has-
team either.
Yeah, no one's made like an accidental misstep. As I say that, maybe Hoon.
His backup is here. Charm is waiting the wings, keeping Hoon safe. Pretty tanky on that Gragas already to start things off.
And there, just like that, Liberty and Immortals reset back to an even state.
I'm in pain right now, granted. The good news is there is a Rift Herald for Kinzin. He is trying to find a way to use it. Hoon playing on the edges right now. Love this from Hoon. So smart, just clearing out the way for the culling. He knew Kinzin wants to drop the Herald, and he just says no.
Yeah. Drops the
Okay.
culling, gets it done, clears out the wave. Liberty looking for round 2 in the top side. Immortals on
Garen's
the
not
hunt to
gonna
respond
lose.
as well.
Yeah, Garen's not gonna die here. You have the Dawning Shadows to back him up as well. So far, so good for Hoon. Pretty smart play so far. Not exactly making any miraculous plays happen, but it's still early.
Is this what your podcast with TJ is like? It's just a whole bunch of waiting?
He likes the waiting, I don't.
He likes the waiting.
But he ends up waiting for me because I'm always late, so it works out.
So it's not that he likes the waiting, but he has no choice but to wait.
Well, I do believe he likes slow games as well, so he probably likes waiting too.
That's that's a stretch.
I mean, I don't need to justify it to myself because I'm going to be late regardless, but that's how I justify it to myself.
Neither side really able to find much of an advantage. I mean, the pressure is truly on at this point. Liberty, we've seen Halliday play much more aggressive in some of the other games. A lot of respect shown here to Immortals.
Grandin, do you remember Farmville?
Sure.
Or are you too young for that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just making that reference for no reason at all. This game is definitely not a reference to that at all. This game state, I mean.
I mean, why not just saying it's like an idle sim?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're giving me too much credit here.
It
You
seems
think
a
I can't
little
spell out those words.
like an easier, more concise way to condense the idea.
Okay, but maybe some action.
The flash away by Fenner Freeze.
This could be a dive.
Lemon looking for an angle, but the Valkyrie away. Finally, first turret going down. Immortals with a pickup.
Let's go, Immortals! And now
So
Kids in one
exciting.
shot. Oh, okay, Righteous Glory is gone. Now he's gonna rip Harrow in the mid lane, but then
Oh
Charm
my.
is gonna come in and he's gonna bop it away. They're not gonna lose the turret, they're just gonna lose 2 plates.
Trading back, knocking back the Rift Herald. Shockwave on the 3 members. Immortals
With
still
the
looking
belly
for that.
button.
Oh no!
Oh no, so close.
Gets charge off in
I
the end.
feel like Charm outed a little bit too early there.
Right.
He could wait for Rift Herald to start the animation and then out it, and I think that gives you maximum downtime.
I'm not sure I saw the body slam. I think it might have been cancelled away.
No clue. By the pack, by the shockwave, maybe, yeah. Good
Up
catch.
towards the top side, and they have a lot of people here, but won't be able to get it done.
It's happening.
My goodness, this is it. This is the exciting gameplay we've been waiting for. Kona versus the turret. Charm
He's gonna
defending
get it,
against
he's
it.
gonna get it.
Charm
He
cannot
has
save the
left
turret. There we go.
Let's go.
Liberty with the turret pickup.
Now it's 1 kill apiece on the turrets. This could be
Immortals
it.
chasing after Gil onto Freaks. Freaks flashes over the wall. Hoon
Oh.
on the pursuit. Chases after. Piercing
No.
light, but back
No.
towards safety. Hoon pursues on and gets the first
Granted,
kill.
you're not excited
onto
enough. That's
Immortals.
first blood for Hoon on his debut. Man, what a party pooper out here. Harrow gets started though. Maybe some action?
Yeah, Freaks
Maybe?
late to respond.
Okay.
It looks like Liberty give this one
Yeah.
away.
They're gonna give up the dragon as well too, mark my words. I feel it in my bones. Liberty are gonna give up
You're
the
right.
dragon.
I should have been more hyped for that, Hoon.
Yeah!
Got
That
it.
first blood could have been the highlight here, Grandin.
The first and only kill of the game, potentially.
But Hoon definitely showing
No.
off some good mechanics to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is despite the Howlbreaker pickup. You know, he's going to do a little bit less
Oh,
damage.
they're
but he's
contesting,
pressing.
we're gonna fight!
Liberty now in a position to try and go for this. It will go over to Liberty as they pick up the first kill back on the Hoon. Redemption will not save him. Immortals start losing this fight. Shockwave does not manage to connect. Immortals get out in time. Liberty chasing after 1-for-1 on both ends.
And a disaster for Immortals. They lose Hoon, they lose the dragon. That's about as bad as it gets, really.
They still have the Rift Town, so maybe able to find some value somewhere
Well,
else.
they might trade here, right? But still, it's not a high-value trade. I think
Exactly.
more than anything, you want the mid-lane turret. You don't want to allow... Okay, well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
Look
there
at
we
Hoon
go.
now. You just get stuck because of package. That's fantastic for boss.
You got 2 people running you down. Both
Yeah.
Kinzen, as well as Freaky, as well as Freaks running you down.
To be honest, Freaks was a little freaky with it in that last team fight. Right? Rift Herald
Yeah,
was
sure.
not used, but they do get the tier 1 top. So Rift Herald is safe from it. You really want to be using the Rift Herald on the Orianna's tower. You want to break the mid lane turret. You don't want to give her the safety of that tier 1 to just slowly wave clear, farm up behind.
But they picked up everything that is worth picking up right now. They got that top side turret without having to use the Rift Child, so Immortals could still look to try and use that later on.
Sure.
Small gold advantage over the Immortals, but we saw what happened there.
I feel like if Orianna shows in the Baron lane, that's your cue to use Rift Herald in the mid lane, because she's the primary wave clear. She's not there. Well, but neither are Immortals, I guess. We're just having one of those games, one of those times where we're chilling.
Lemon is off towards the top side of the map, so not really
Oh,
able
they're
to
going
use
for
the
Hoon
Rift Child
again.
mid.
Okay, yeah, okay. They tried to make a play for Hoon, nothing's gonna happen. We're back to a farming game state. No more Rift Herald, so only the next dragon to fight for. I'm about to lose my mind, Grandin.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while before we get there.
It's 12 minutes and there are 2 kills? Yeah, this isn't right. Something's not right
No,
here.
we're going for late game. The late game is where it's at.
Okay, watch us say that, and then it's a one team fight and game over. Okay, here we go.
There we go. Catch on to Boss, and Boss
Be
has
more
no
excited.
escape. There we go. Kill 3 Immortals.
That's the highlight. Immortals get the kill onto Boss. Not sure why he was out there without a tier 1 turret. They're trying to answer on Zello,
All right.
but Garrett's tanky.
This is it. This is it. Liberty go on to Zello. Redemption comes across. Man of Freeze is still taking damage from the turret. They're pursuing for a kill, but Immortals
They're
route
gonna lose
away.
so much more. Look at the map right now. Immortals gonna get mid tier 1. Maybe gonna get mid bot tier 2 as well. Look how tanky the cannon is. Oh, this is such a good trade for Immortals.
A very good job. Well done here by Hoon to pick up another turret for his team.
Hoon is doing really well. He's been having some really smart moments. You can tell, like, he's thinking about what he wants to do next.
Playing for that macro game. I am a little bit surprised that Immortals held onto the Rift Charge and still using it in the mid lane though.
They didn't even need to. Wait, is it down?
No,
Okay.
it took down 1 turret.
Look, like, Boss should just never be there. Like, he is so far up, hugging the side on the river as well. It's just, frankly, he had a death wish.
There was no turret there to help him stay
Yeah.
alive. Yeah, there we go. They used the Rift Charge in the
He
bot
has
side.
Howlbreaker granted. He's playing Dragon Lane Cocky with Howlbreaker Black Cleaver. He's just allergic to dealing damage.
That's a good way of putting it. Allergic to dealing damage.
I can't take credit for that one. I ripped it off.
Sure,
But still,
but it is still quite funny to hear.
thank you, Grandin.
Liberty,
I think it's the first time I
honestly,
made you laugh today.
genuinely,
I
like a
live for these
genuine laugh.
moments.
Liberty has still not in the lost state, right? It's still a very even game position. Zello now in
Not
an
again.
interesting
They're trying to
spot.
play for Zello.
Catch on the
Again?
mana from Mana Freeze. Zello will be able to sidestep them. Sentence does not manage to land. The bot side now. They're escorting the Rift Herald over. Mid side also sees pressure.
It's a bit of a
Two main
stroll
trying
here
to
for
push in.
Shelly. Shelly's going for a nice evening walk here.
It's a long walk
Lovely Singapore river bank.
along the edge of the map.
Yeah, she's not even going to get the charge. A bit unfortunate, but
All right, there we go. Goodbye, Shelly. Twas nice knowing you.
do you have a eulogy for Shelly?
Yeah,
What would that be? Come on, you can do it.
spawned into the Rift at 10 minutes.
This is going to be something really depressing. Like, we come from dirt and we return to dirt, isn't it?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I actually, well, now I don't want to do it.
Did I ruin it?
I don't want to
So
do it
that
anymore.
means you did have something super cheesy.
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
Okay, well, 3 items getting completed by basically everyone on the Rift right now. But still, 3 kills. 3 items for everybody, and 3 kills.
That's the way.
One of those games.
That is the way.
But Dragon is coming up. This should be a big team fight. Cocky is recalling for package. This is it, Grandin's what we've been waiting for.
All
It's
right.
do or die.
10 seconds on the Dragon. Package being picked up here for Boss. Position in favor of Liberty as they get ready for the Ocean Drake. Immortals coming in through the river. Topping up for a little bit of extra health. Kona will spot them out with the orb
This
and
is a
try
good
to
play.
decide what they want to do.
Immortals are doing a good job, but they get hooked.
Flash in, they get the lockdown, looking to take down Latmon, but Latmon has stasis and he will survive by
Package.
flashing away and back into the mid lane with his team. Zello going down, the Ignite gets it done. Boss with the credit for the kill. Immortals lose 1.
Immortals start off well. They identify that we need to shove out the mid wave first, but the teamfight positioning is too good from Immortals. Freaks on the flank, and Boss cuts them in half.
Look at this sustain, Immortals.
Gume
Heal up
flash.
so much more health.
Gumi flash right there. Yeah, they have the Senna. That's the power of the Senna pickup. Who now trying to do his best to clear out the waves, to be aggressive.
Engage
They're
comes
gonna win
through,
this.
they get the cash, Latmon with the kill, jumps in, but he gets caught by the shockwave, it's come back up again. The leap reset baits him in. Immortals will lose 2 more.
I just can't tell who's winning. I have no clue who's winning at any point in time. It's such a close game between both of these teams. But did you just see that pop up? Did you just see Divine Sundra get finished for Cocky? He's finally going to start doing some damage, and Death Cap as well. Let's look at how the second part of the fight happened. Gume flashed in, tried to get a root down, wasn't able to hit it. But it starts... Oh,
Okay, we gotta focus this one first.
he's
You know
not dead.
who?
He's tanky.
He's a hard worker. The hottest worker, some might say.
Oh, he's very tanky.
Wants to kill onto Freaks. No flash. Relentless pursuit. Still a ways away.
My goodness, but it was a bait. They didn't actually want to kill Hoon.
They know the Baron has been started up.
No, they don't.
should
They
be
have
able
no
to see this.
clue.
Oh, it's too late. It's too late. It's gone. Baron over to Liberty. They take it away 17 minutes in, Omo.
I love how you see the Liberty player cams as well, and they're like kind of wanting to cheer, but they know it's still just a Baron. It's still early on, and then they're like restrained, fist bumping.
They're like, we can't cheer,
yes,
or
nice.
Immortals will know we're taking the Baron.
No, but they got it already.
Yeah, but like before that as well. They're
Yeah,
like, we
that's
can't
true,
be
that's
too
true.
excited. You know, this is where the acting skills come in.
You know, it actually works out. You gotta be like, "Psst, guys, come do Baron right now. Let's sneak it. They have no clue. Come here now. Be
And
quiet."
I mean, you know, we saw Freaks pull so much attention away from Root.
Yeah, it was a really good bait.
That redemption could be used for Vision in the Baron
You know-
pit, but they used it to keep
Yeah,
Boone
you were
alive.
talking about acting skills. I think we give Freaks a Grammy for Oscar, whatever, for that one.
Sure.
My brain is just not working at this point in time yet.
He deserves an award. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, one of those awards.
Let's see what
Okay.
happens here. Immortals now have to deal with Baron minion waves starting to crash in. They've done so much to get the waves set up in their favor, but it's so easily overturned here as Liberty pick up the mid side tier 2. Bot side tier 2 goes down as well.
Explosive cask is used as well, so no disengage tools for Immortals, and the minion waves come crashing in.
Redemption being popped. Immortals making a stand
Oh,
here.
huge!
Big shockwave catch onto Hoon. Look at the death sentence out from Manafraser. He does not miss these.
Does not miss these, and that's gonna be 2 inhibitors down for Immortals.
And execute onto Zello with 50 seconds left. I think Liberty can smell the win here. Flashing forward, a jump onto Lemon. Lemon gets the way back onto the fountain, but Liberty find game number 1.
And what did I tell you, Grandin? One team fight, and we're done. That was all it took.
Was that
of
really a
Liberty.
team fight?
Well, there was one team fight at the Dragon, right? It was a
Sure.
very long and drawn-out one, but after that, they snuck the Baron. And Liberty, even though they didn't have the best early game, even though they were very slow around the mid-game timings, didn't set up objectives well, once they hit their power spikes, the team fighting power, the explosiveness of Liberty, it was all it took, really, to take down Immortals in that game.
I mean, that was a game.
That was a game,
Immortals-
full stop.
That was a game that Immortals had the lead in. Had some control
Sure,
going
yeah.
into it. They had the first dragon. They had some late game skilling as well. But Liberty making a successive, a string,
Successful.
a string of successful events. You know, managed to turn it into their favor, picking up the dragon, having that fight around the dragon. Very restrained celebrations for now. The real celebrations come after group stages, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, well, Liberty 1-0 up right now. Pretty happy with this one, but keep in mind the series is not over yet. I'm sure Immortals will have more in store for us there. It wasn't enough in game 1, but let's see what they have for game 2.
Definitely feels like they could have something in plan, right? Something that he could have against Liberty, something they've been holding back. We saw BRU pull out this rocket in game 2
Yeah.
when they were tried and tested. And so maybe an opportunity here for Immortals to do the same. Well, they're looking for the second win for NA. For WNS going into this one, Liberty are still going strong, playing in for the play-ins and keeping that run going. An exciting, well, I say exciting, an exciting result. Maybe
Yeah,
not so much
sure.
a game. It's a very well played out game. We're going to toss it over back to Kangas and the rest of the desk to break down game number 1.
So close, and the game changes at the drop of a hat. Let's start from the beginning, though. I don't know what this pointing is, but Riku,
Yes!
no kills again. Is this just the day of, like, we can't get a kill until the 10-minute mark?
There's a lot on the line, right? This is Elimination Day. We're going to be saying goodbye to either Liberty or Immortals. It's going to be very important. That's the reason why a lot of these teams don't want to make the first move. That's the reason why we didn't see early game Manufritza trying to roam. They're being very careful. If they want to engage, they want to be 100% sure that they're going to win in the end. I want to talk about Immortals first, though. They were doing every single thing right. They were getting the Herald, they were split pushing 1-3-1, double Hull Breaker. But what you sacrifice, though, is 5v5 team stats,
Yep.
where Liberty, Manufritza did a flash hook, forced Immortals into a fight that they were not prepared for, killed Zello, and made it into a 4v5.
And this was my setup for this match, right? Yes, IMT are really good on the map. This is why they take Sentinels apart every time they play regionally. They know how to find isolated picks. They know how to play macro. And when they're playing that 1-3-1 setup,
Yep.
their strength is that each of those ones on the side lane, typically you're looking at Hoon in that side lane, he can duel
Like this.
almost
Yeah,
anyone.
Hoon!
He can duel almost anyone who comes to fight him and get those kills. And there are very few teams who can do that. The problem is, the thing that Immortals have never been forced to do by Sentinels, at least consistently, is 5v5 teamfight.
And we can see that in moments like this, Lamont starting to Dragon and Immortals are not all grouped. They're not ready to take the fight. Liberty, that's their game plan. They're like, we are grouped. We will take the fight.
And not only did Liberty take the fight, but they played it really, really well.
Yeah!
Because that's what we've seen from them all tournament long. I want to particularly shout out Boss on his Corki. these packages in these fights, you've seen that one
Yeah.
right there, are why they won a whole lot of the early fights, melting Zello even on Garen.
Yeah, exactly, right? You could see that Immortals was trying to dilly-dally, wait for the package to expire, but because of Mana Freaks forced them, okay, get in here, we're gonna fight, come here. And that's what you saw, right? The boss package. And I gotta give a big shout-out to Kona's Shockwaves.
Shockwave!
Very key.
It's
they're
what
very
ended the
huge.
game.
Exactly. Such a, again, you gotta love
Right
Liberty
here.
with their fights.
Watch this. Over the wall, Immortals, they're grouped up.
Boom!
Shockwave!
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 And Mono Fritza on the Thresh gets a hook again. And
Uh-huh.
we know that this happened to Sentinels.
Yeah!
Mono Fritza on the Thresh absolutely ran through Sentinels. I think that this, from the drafting stage, you need to respect that. If
Yeah.
you're Immortals, just ban the Thresh in the first round.
Exactly. Once everybody saw what Manfredse could do on the Thresh when they faced up against Sentinels, everyone that pretty much went up against them insta-banned Manfredse's Thresh, forcing him to sets, forcing him into other things that can still playmake, but not as effective as the Thresh. So I'm actually legit surprised that the Thresh is open.
Kangas.
Is that a high
What?
five? What is this?
Are we doing
My
the thing?
face. My face. Go
Sorry,
lower.
okay.
There.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
That's what we were going for.
I don't know why we were doing that, but I'm in. Is that the NA energy right there?
No,
We just-
that's what they were doing after they won.
Oh.
Because
I didn't
earlier
notice.
when you were talking, Rico and I did the Sengoku coach thing.
Oh, we did.
So
So
while
now
she
is
was
our time to
talking,
leave
I
her
wanted
out
to
of
make
it.
sure that
The next
Appreciate
time
the
we should leave
explanation.
you out.
I want to go back to another thing that we noticed from that game. I'm very passionate about this, obviously, as I
Yes.
have a lot on the line. First off, Kona's damage, that is insane.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you notice, Charm's damage, not very high on the Gragas. Rod of Ages into the Crystalline Reflector, into Warmogs. Went for a very tanky Gragas that was farming up, and it was very quick that Gume started farming instead of just going for the stacks. And we were talking about this off camera. There's no AP on this composition. There's double Death's Dance on Liberty. It just further made that 5v5 hard. It felt like it was all about playing the split push, survive as the other three, as opposed to let's be able to match them in those 5v5s.
That's true.
TJ, it looks like you have something to go off of that.
Yeah, I was doing this.
Yes, that's the signal. That's how I knew.
Sure. I think yes, but Farming Senna is never going to win those, or sorry, Fasting Senna is never going to win those team fights anyway.
Sure.
You need the front line to have a hope of being able to disengage from them, which I think is a reasonable goal, because I don't think fundamentally IMT are going to be able to win head-to-head in the 5v5s. And I would be excited to see them draft to try and take that swing, but especially with that draft, it's not going to happen. So I don't mind the thought process of, okay, let's play the sidelines. Let's get tanky and be able to disengage from these fights and slow down the game. Obviously, it didn't work. Obviously, when it came time to fight for those major objectives, even though there was a gold lead on Immortals, even though they had played the early game very well, as Riku pointed out, Liberty were able to drag them into those 5v5s and demand that they get the fights they needed.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the Gragas build is, Charm's build is going to be, if you go full AP, it's very high risk, high reward. Building tanky HP is very safe. But I feel like if he built AP, imagine, wait, no, I'm just imagining a scenario.
I'm just looking at the dances as they're walking on the stage. Liberty are just so
great.
charismatic. It's crazy.
What are we imagining?
Kinzen, Kinzen was also like dancing, but I'm also imagining the point
'Kay.
where Liberty had a very squishy composition. Charm were landing really good body slams. If
Yup.
the full combo came in, they can immediately burst people down. It's high risk, high reward.
Sure.
Sure. I want to bring us over to the Liberty side, though, because they played that game incredibly well, but TJ, you have a
Yeah.
quick point first.
I just want to kind of double down on the, yes, they didn't have a comp for team fighting, so how do you win that game in theory? If you play the sidelines, Immortals are hoping they have enough of a lead that by the time they're dragged into team fights they have to fight, they can win them even without the composition because they have so much of a lead. That didn't happen, but that's where it went wrong. They didn't run up enough of a tab during that early game when they can play the split push.
So that's enough conversation from the losing side. Let's talk about the winning side now. Over
yeah.
on Liberty,
Oh, yeah.
the team fighting. We already mentioned the Shockwaves. We mentioned Mono Fritza on the Thresh. Outside of that, I mean, Kinzen and Freaks also had really solid performances on the Olaf on the Riven, playing that front line that the team needed.
Honestly, Freaks is one of the low-key, high-key members of the squad because he is mostly either a tool for 5v5s or for 4-1 split push. His Camille is also incredibly scary. We've seen that before, and I feel like that's something Immortals has to deal with eventually in this series.
Freaks' flexibility, I think, is a microcosm of the whole team's
Yeah.
flexibility.
Yeah.
We've seen Liberty be able to play the side lanes, we've seen Liberty be able to play the team fights, depending on their opponent, and in that game, they did fall behind, as we talked about, and I think, Riku, you said it, they kept their confidence, they kept their heads.
Yeah.
And they said, yes, we're down 3,000 to 5,000 gold, but we know where our strength is in the team fight, and we are going to execute a perfect team fight when Immortals have to fight us.
And what's terrifying about this is that we always look to Liberty, to Omega, no matter the team, even Keystars, they play early game. They play aggressive.
Yeah.
They make action happen. This was a different look from Liberty. They were okay with letting it go 10 minutes and then go in for the team fights because they were still confident enough in their team fighting capabilities.
And that's what's most impressive about these Brazilian teams. We came into the tournament with those expectations. You know, we watched them regionally. We expect them to be very aggressive, very team fighty. As the tournament has gone on, not just Liberty, but also Omega, I think have demonstrated many times they can do anything any of the other teams can do. Certainly in the West, they have that versatility baked in. We've seen them play the late game, and we see it again here as they recognize what their composition does. They build it to shut down exactly what they know Immortals are going to want to do, because it's what Immortals do every time.
Sides are swapped now as Immortals take to the blue side of the Rift, Liberty on the red, and we are in to pick and bans. Let's see what the adaptations are now in round 2.
I want to see a Thresh ban. To be honest, even though Manufrize couldn't get kills, couldn't start fights top, mid, the first 5 minutes of the game, it didn't matter. He was still able to find and activate team fights for the team.
Karma still on the board here as Camille and Yuumi are targeted by IMT alongside Senna. Liberty get to choose whether or not they take out the Karma or any of the other high-value targets here. Varus very often banned, Corki very often banned. Those two very powerful AD carries still in the pool alongside Karma.
Let's hold our breath to see what Liberty bans last. The Karma would be a prime target.
Oh,
and then
wow.
instead.
Corki.
So I expected this from Liberty because they played it very well in the last game, and it's so devastating in the team fights they want to play to, and because it's something Gume likes a lot. Now I'm looking at the Garen as high priority for Immortals. Alongside that Karma, I want to see if maybe they prioritize getting that tank in the hands of Zello, and instead they go for the Karma, which I think is the right call, but it will open things up.
Karma is really good with Lucian. If you want to activate a very aggressive bot lane or very aggressive composition in general, Staff of Flowing Water, you got a lot of ability haste, so I'm assuming Riven is going to be really good for the composition of IMT as well.
I'm a little scared this is going to be mid Karma on Hoon though.
Uh-huh.
And if that's the case, the reason I'm worried for that is, one, I don't think mid-Karma is very good, and two, I don't think mid-Karma is a good fit for Hoon, who wants to be able to have that side lane agency. It would rob him of his dueling potential.
Absolutely right. So if this is indeed a Hoon Karma, then that means Lebmon has to step up twice as much in this match point already for Liberty.
It's not Thresh locked in early for Liberty.
Nope.
They go for the Wukong Lucian. You were just saying Lucian would pair well with what Immortals drafted first in that Karma. Liberty, take that off the table.
And it's crazy to me that Liberty also gets one of the best picks from Kinson, which is the Wukong. He's able to start fights, help Manufrize as well in engaging these team fights. Imagine if Manufrize is going to be not only on the Thresh, perhaps even the set.
The Olaf taken away here, interesting to me because I would have thought the Wukong kind of demonstrated where Liberty were going in the jungle.
Yeah.
So I wonder if IMT are picking that up because of their prioritization or to try and take it away. I'm afraid the Wukong's going to flip. They also get Singed, which gives them a more defensive option in the middle of the map. Does once again rob some of that engage power from Hoon. He'll still be able to engage in fights, but not in duels. And this indicates, with Karma as a support in Charm's hand, as she rightly should be, with the Singed in the middle of the map, this indicates this is a very team fight heavy composition for IMT.
Exactly.
They're going to use that Karma to speed boost in the Singed, to speed boost in the Olaf, and take 5v5 team fights.
And meanwhile, Liberty is instead having the Jax, which means this is a Freaks Wukong or possibly Switch. We still don't know. We've seen Liberty done crazy things in the draft before, so I'm curious to see where the Lucian is. This doesn't say anything to us. It's still a mystery. Where's this Lucian going to go as well?
Lucian Baron lane.
Yeah! Yeah.
Well, they have every phase of the game already sorted out, is what's interesting to me about Liberty. They have that Jax to clean up the late game, they have the Wukong for the mid-game team fights, they have the Lucian for the early mid-game. This is a team that's going to be able to take fights to contest across the map at any point during the game. And Immortals have tried to challenge them in the 5v5 team fight as a response. Liberty are stepping away from the team fight, is what this says to me. They're still going to have the tools to team fight, but it's much more about the skirmishes, using those Jax stuns to find early picks, separated picks.
What is lacking though is an enchanter. Nami is gonna be the
True,
second
dude.
most true dude. I know, right? Most important thing for Manufritze. If it's not a Thresh, if the Thresh is not available, he picks up the Nami. It enables the big 5v5, but instead they're opting for a Lulu, which doesn't start the fights like the tidal wave, but it keeps your carries like Kinzen, like Kona alive, or maybe even Boss, depending if he's on that Lucian.
And if Jax can go big mode
Yeah.
in the middle of a team fight next to your Karma, that Karma's gone. I do think, and I am usually very critical of Lulu because she doesn't offer laning power,
Yep.
but Lucian kind of compensates for that by just being so scary during the early games that you can get away with having less of that laning power.
Now it's going to come down to Immortals finding an answer here.
What's
it will
in
be
Gume's house?
Renekton
Crazy.
for Zello, and they still are not showing what Gume is piloting, waiting till the very
Give me
last
Varus.
moments to lock it in. Varus is banned, Ziggs is banned as well, so the
Oh!
Yeah!
Oh.
I really like this IMT draft. This is Ashe's really good during the early game, comparable to the Lucian. Doesn't have as much damage, but can wave clear. And once they get first item complete, capable of absolutely fighting in those team fights, but most importantly, cross-map stuns. If you're trying to deal with a team that's skirmishing, you can have 0.5 of a player in any fight at any time.
Exactly, right? You can do 1-3-1, you can do team fight as well for IMT. So this is both combining game one strength and what they intend to do against Liberty this time around. But Akali!
Akali!
Fortuna!
Akali!
This is insane!
They have everything.
They do!
Liberty for the skirmish, they can take any fight in any 3v3, 2v2, 1v1 configuration
Yeah,
anywhere
yes.
on the map. Where they're going to struggle, front to back into Immortals. Long team fights are scary. So long as Gume and Charm live in the backlines, Immortals will win every 5v5 team fight.
Exactly, this is the scary part, right? The Ashe is gonna poke you, you have a lot of melee champions on the side of Liberty. How can you go near with the volley shots?
You have to get in there if you're Kona, shut down the Ashe early.
Game one went to Liberty. Game two draft completed. Immortals with their backs against the wall. Let's send it back on over to the casters, Grandin and Omo, for game two.
A chance here for Immortals to pull back against Liberty. But they have the work cut out for them. We need to see how this one plays out. Granted here with Omo. Exhausted Omo.
Exhausted.
Watching this one, and you have to imagine
It's a slugfest.
it's the same for these players. They've been getting ready the last series of the day.
And honestly, it all starts with draft, right? If you look at the drafts for both of these teams, Liberty, well, let me start with Immortals. I think Immortals actually has a fantastic draft, Grandin. They have so many win conditions here. The early game power of the Renekton, Olaf, Singed running at you, speed boosted by the Karma. It's just
That's
insane.
rare.
They have so many ways to start fights as well.
Strong praise from Omo.
Yeah, but I'm not done yet.
Oh,
You didn't let me finish my
All
sentence.
all right,
But
here we
the
go.
problem is, it's a very hard draft to execute. It's a very timing-reliant draft that you have to play around your power spikes because you're going to get outscaled if you don't.
So we need to see if Liberty are able to make use of that information, knowing that there are some weaknesses potentially here to abuse.
Just play it slow, right? Because Liberty, their comp favors messy gameplay. Their comp favors long, drawn-out team fight skirmishes where you kind of just do whatever you want. You just run at your opponents.
I mean, Omo,
Immortals,
you talk
have to
about
play
playing it
structure.
slow.
Yeah.
We saw last game.
Well, that is true.
They are prepared to play it slow if they
Yeah.
have to. I think that's something that Liberty have been able to adapt really well to coming into the series. The fact that they're not feeling an urgent need to make an aggressive play where they don't have to.
But see, that's the thing, right? If you told me that a WRL team, you told me that FPX was playing IMP's team comp right now, I would say that's it. That's a great drop. They're going to win the game. Oh, Freaks.
Beautiful catch onto Freaks.
Oh,
The
no,
adhesive
that's on
there prevents the flash and first blood over to IMT.
And this was a matchup that Liberty opted into. They put the Wukong into the Singe because they wanted that matchup. Obviously, you want the Akali into the Renekton as well, but it ends up biting Freaks. gets taken down right from the get-go there. Good combo coming in from Hoon and Lapmon.
A chance there for Immortals to find a kill, to find a lead that they so desperately need in this game, and they get it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, last game as well, we went like 10 minutes without a single kill, so we're off to a great start already here, off to the races.
Yeah,
granted.
absolutely. Exponentially more to begin this one.
Exponentially, indeed.
But beyond that, we have to see what Liberty want to get done here, right? Because Immortals, they're going to be content farming up to hit their ultimates, and then they get to start running you down, whereas Liberty have a lot of late-game scaling options. Between the damage from the Jax, the crowd control from the Wukong, and just the overall scalability of the Lulu, there's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, I think if you look at this game, right, Liberty has all the late game winning options. Well, I wouldn't say all. Immortals have a lot of ways to win the game as well, but it comes down to execution.
Sure.
Liberty don't have that burden. They kind of just do whatever they want, and their team comp favors that. Just brawl, go late game charm, though. This might be interesting.
But this is still risky here for Zello. They managed to find the first cash. A beautiful route. They try to chase after the Undertow dead. The Ignite going down, but they still need a little bit more damage. Kona escapes.
He reckless swing the creep, Brandon. He flashed in, Undertow.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Charm
that's 2 flashes to not get a kill.
nearly catches a kill there, but will miss that chance. The rest of Liberty make their way to the top side, protecting Kona.
Oh, rough start here from Immortals, especially since we emphasized the point of how their comp needs to hit timings, needs to play aggressively.
Calling onto Gume.
Good play. Forces Gume off the wave.
And I have to say here, he's actually so close to a kill. A flash in, dash in, relentless pursuit, piercing light.
Scares him off the honey fruit. I love that from Boss.
Won't happen.
Won't happen indeed. And
I mean, it
it's,
scared me too, so.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out. I thought Boss was going to steal my honey fruit.
I'd be more concerned about the kill, you know?
No, the honey fruit first.
Sure.
It's 15 gold a piece, Grandin.
Oh, yeah? That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. You get 3 of that, and that's yo, quarter of the way to a ruby crystal.
That's something for you guys to think about.
Well, I do believe that Gume will be going for the Storm Razor first, so no utility Ash. We're going all out damage this game. And he is one of the late game damage sources on his team.
That's what we want to see. That's what needs to be done. They also still need his utility against Kinzin, I'd say.
Yeah.
Once that Counter-Strike comes up, honestly, you get so much value against champions like the Ashe.
You know, Lapmon kind of didn't quite work out on the kill in the Baron lane, but he did get first blood. Oh, where's the arrow going? Where's it going?
Got the bottom
Nowhere.
man.
Nowhere.
They catch out boss, but there's no follow-up for this.
Yeah, just desynced, right? This is kind of what we talked about with BRU earlier today, right? When you play comps that are reliant on timing, burden is on you to execute. Immortals, after what we saw from that game 1, I'm a bit hesitant to have faith in the comp, which is reliant on execution. I think for these teams, ease of execution is really the name of the game, and that's exactly what Liberty have. I can't emphasize that point enough because I think it's such a defining factor of this game.
Sure, I'll help you out.
Sure,
Yeah.
go for it.
No, I mean, I'll just say it more throughout the game.
Okay. Wait, that's it?
Yeah, I'll help you out. Liberty have a really good, easy execute composition.
Okay, they do. They truly do. And we do see exasperated right now. Well, objectives are up. Immortals want to force the issue right now. Immortals want to take a fight. Immortals don't want to trade objectives.
Ooh.
And Immortals will start off the Rift Herald.
But do they have the vision to make this one work?
But they're on a ward right now. And Liberty are going to try to trade. Liberty should be able to trade the Dragon. So scaling's going to be good for them.
Rift Herald gonna go down quickly. Liberty a little bit slower on that Dragon, but they have some damage nonetheless. There we go, Rift Herald picked up. 3,000 on this Dragon, trying to get this one down as quickly as they can.
It's all
Looking
good.
for the flank on with Hoon.
Ooh, but they will lose mid lane though. That's a big get for Immortals. If they get this turret, that's good.
A lot of damage onto
No
left
culling.
one. They jump in here, looking for the fight, get the knock up through. The Counter-Strike won't be available. Kinzin not able to get the stun down, and mid lane turret survives after the onslaught from Immortals.
Oh, it's a bit unfortunate. If our culling was available for Bostad, that could have been huge. Unfortunately, not quite able to elongate the team fight. Turret mid lane is still alive, but it is very low right now.
And Freeze actually healing up and shielding up. Freaks by a lot there.
Yep.
Don't have much damage
Big buffs.
between Hoon and Chom.
The Wukong into Renekton matchup is an interesting one. I know it's been Akali into Renekton for the most of the game, but eventually I assume they will swap back. And at some point, I think Wukong and Akali both have winning matchups into Renekton and Singed. So that's Liberty winning the side lanes later on as well. I feel like as the game goes on, Liberty just get happier and happier So Immortals
Really on a
have to
timer.
press the issue. Yeah, on a timer. Comp as well is very reliant on execution. Can they do it? That's the million-dollar question.
But Immortals do have a slight goal lead up until this point, especially with that first blood kill. So Liberty are going to play it a little bit safer. They don't want to overextend, run the risk of making a misplay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lapmon has Gargoyle Stoneplate as his first pickup here. Not the Righteous Glory that we normally see from most Olafs. He wants to be run in and be tanky.
An interesting choice.
I mean, I get it, right? When as Olaf, half the time you run in, you just get one shot. But also, like, I know it doesn't negate the damage on your Reckless Swing, but you still want your damage from your Undertow, your autos.
But they want some stuff here for sure. And Jetticruiser Arrow is actually going to prevent LBR from going to chase them down too quickly. Makoon's still in a spot of danger. Cycling being used again. Freaks getting very low, taken down. Immortals with the kill.
Not quite enough damage right now from the Freaks and Kins in duo. Jack still needs time to scale. Freaks doesn't have the items for it either. So they will just lose out to the early game power of Immortals.
You see Kona and Boss over in the mid lane starting to
low.
rotate over. I'm not sure if there's anything to be found here. Yeah, Immortals just get to back away.
That's a poor timing play there from Liberty, and they will lose the top lane turret as a result of that one.
Well done,
Consequences
Immortals.
of their actions. Immortals pull ahead to an even bigger gold lead right now, sitting somewhere along, what's that, 3,000, 4,000 gold? It's good, but they need to maintain that gold lead, and they need to accelerate it at the next Dragon fight.
You said 3 and 4, but you were like, it's like
3-2-4.
right in the middle. It's like 3.5.
I said 3-2-4.
Sure, but it's like right in the middle. It's so
You
close.
expect me to know a 0.5, Brandon?
Yeah. It's difficult. You knew 15. It's the same concept.
Well, the good news for Liberty is the gold is going over. I'm trying to find a good spot, but it really is none. All of them are losing out on gold to the counterparts right now.
Sure, but I mean, it's not a major issue right now. The problem
Sure.
is with Liberty, of course, Mana Frieze will have not that much agency in lane, but as the game continues to progress on, he picks up some items. I think that is the Ardent Sensor looking to be completed first. He gives so much more damage over to Kinsen.
Yeah, that's gonna be for that's gonna be for. Wait, I'm not sure what's going on here. It's like they want to fight, but they don't.
They dive them on the turret.
What about Jax?
Trying to jump in.
What?
Taking down Conan and Jetticruiser Arrow holds Kinsen in place. And it is again Immortals with a third kill.
Yeah, you know how I said Immortals have the pressure to make plays with their team comp and be proactive? But Liberty right now are just running it down, so it doesn't matter.
Response for Liberty. They want to be the ones.
I've never seen a Jax
aggressor.
with a Proto Belt, by the way. This is the first for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to go in.
I guess it makes sense because his job right now is to counter-strike, Proto Belt, jump in, Lulu ulti, and then stun, right? So he's kind of an initiating Jax. Something you don't see every day.
Well, it would be Liberty to pull that one out. A lot of hopes here for Liberty, considering the amazing run they've had so
Yeah,
far.
really,
coming into
truly
lanes. Immortals. They had some complications. Coming into the competition, we were worried they wouldn't be,
they're going
wouldn't
for
be able
Zalo,
to
but
field
it's
their full
Tower.
roster. But now they've been able to come in, and now they need to take a win to prove the WNS strength.
But there's no wave. There's no wave. What are you diving with?
Rift Tower goes over
There's
to
no
Immortals in
way.
this time, and Liberty give this one away.
Immortals gets the Rift Herald. That is going to get picked up by Latmon. That's good, because when you drop the Rift Herald, they'll try to clear it. That's your cue to drop your Crystal Arrow. That's your cue to go in with the engage. So let's see if the Immortals can find a big timing window with the Rift Herald. Of course, with the staggered timer and the Dragon as well, they're going to be able to recall, come right back out with their buys, and Immortals should be in a very strong spot to take the next team fight against Liberty. 6,000-7,000 gold up right now.
Infernal Drake, nothing out there. The Infernal Drake coming out very soon as well. Liberty should be looking to try and fight for this. I can imagine since they have that first dragon, the second dragon, want to keep that scaling game
Yes,
going.
QSS.
Yeah,
That's
you
good.
won't find that much out of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's one of your big team fight starting tools gone here for Immortals.
So I have to see if Liberty are able to punish this. They do get the slow
what
on
about-
to Gumi. Gumi has flash away. Kinsen.
Okay.
More people get the counter strike, get the jump on, but they
Liberty are gonna
on the
get
dragon
this.
instead.
Latmon is just not here.
Still needs to get into this fight. Zello over by the side, looking for a flank angle. The mid lane taking some abuse, but Freaks needs to hold on to it. Gives the turret up.
Okay, they lose the mid turret. That's a good trade. But I feel like Immortals don't need to trade anything. They're so far ahead. They have a team comp that's so strong right now. Is this a conscious choice, or are they just like slow to the play? Interesting. We'll have to watch a replay of that one.
Hitting their timings, they are at likely one of the strongest
Goodness.
points in this game.
Lemon is so rich right now, and he hasn't even dropped the Rift Herald. If he gets another tower with that, that's his third item. That's his GA completed.
Very wealthy man.
Very. Vikings plunder, right? That's how they get their gold. He's a rich, rich Viking. Trying to get into the lore here. Deep dive in that one.
You know the part of the lore, or the old lore for Olaf?
There's an old law for Olaf. They changed the law for Olaf.
Yeah, like like a lore change that's like changed a ton since like the original.
He's just
lore.
a really angry Viking that is too angry to die.
No, that like I think Trinimir is like the too angry to die. But it's
No,
Olaf.
it's like Olaf wants to fight, so he goes to Valhalla, but he can never lose.
Exactly, that's the issue there. As you do see Liberty take a fight, and seems to not go in their favor, right? Kinzen is going to start running in now, just sending a Embrace over by the side. Flip here by Hunas to get more damage onto Kinzen, but the knockout comes through now. Gets a response, ties them on the target. They have the counter strike again available. And the Protobell makes the difference. Char one hit away from death. Liberty won't be able to get the kill there, but Men of Frieze chasing after. Pushed away by Gumi, but Kona spots the chance for a re-engage angle.
Yeah, and Lemon right now tying them up in the mid lane as well. Zello gets chunked out, but Lemon's a really big boy. You don't want to play when this Olaf is around.
And that's finally the first kill going over to Liberty. They get some response here.
Goodness.
Perfect execution to try and dive in, go into the shroud. The exhaust will prevent the additional damage. Shuriken flip.
Yeah. That was good by Chom there. Chom wanted to recall, but he canceled his recall to make sure that Gume was safe, and that ended up saving the life of his marksman there. It's a good idea. Most people would just recall in that situation. You'd be like, okay, you're good, clear the wave. All right, all good. And then the AD would die.
But while that has happened, Liberty has got their first kill. And so
Yeah.
that is something to be watched out for. Now there are some comeback potential.
They got it on Kinzen too. He's going to be scaling. He has 2 items on that Jax. He's still down an item on Lemon, who has the Starix. He's going to be very hard to kill, but still.
Again, Kinzen just walks in so confidently. He has a counter-strike that makes
Okay.
him so good at dealing with this moments. Menafrize tanks up the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Zello trying to move forward now. We get caught here
so much
by the
damage from
lockup, the
Kinzen.
Wild Growth, and the counter-strike.
Kinzen's really starting to hurt, and in all this scattered, messy team fights, that Jax will have a lot of value. Where we see Jax suffer as a champion is in coordinated 5v5s, front to backs. But what's
Kona
this?
dealing with Hoon, 1 versus 1. The exhaust actually preventing a lot of the damage
He
from
has
the
the
Akali,
outs.
but he has no more energy. It's making it difficult to play for. 5-point strike.
Why would you not out?
Almost ready again. There's the ultimate. There we go.
Kona has
Flip,
outs.
but he's holding on to it for now.
Okay, that's interesting. Kona had ulti. He could have tried to go in there, but he wants to play it a bit safe. That's fair.
They're focused on clearing out the Rift Tower. Rift Tower charges in the bot lane.
Yeah, Rift Tower charge goes down. That's a little bit more gold going over to the Olaf. I do believe he should be building just straight up tank items right now, right? He has enough damage, more than enough damage. So let's see what he wants to go for. It's going to be Death Dance on his counterpart. Kinzen, once that one gets completed, he slowly starts getting tankier. As I was saying about the Jax front to back team fights is where he suffers. If you kite him back, just pick on him with all your CC spells, he really does lose out. But in these messy skirmishes with the Lulu to buff him too, he's going to be very strong, I expect.
And the Immortals have really managed to find the goldie for themselves in this game, right? 7,000 up, and they're continuing to build on top of that.
Oh, Koruma's dead.
Yeah, Kona
Oh,
got here.
that arrow, man, clips him.
Very nice arrow. Hoon will pick up the kill credit. Lemon chasing after. Immortals in very strong position now in this game.
Closing in on a 10,000 gold lead here is going to be Immortals. They have full control of the game state. They have full control of Liberty's jungle. They want to bring us to a game tree.
Liberty do have the 2 dragons, and so Elder Drake might be an angle to play for, but looking at how the game state is going, 15.5 minutes coming soon. 3rd Drake not spawned yet. Liberty playing tower defense, trying to hold onto the towers. There we go. Kinzen starts off the fight, tries to dive in forward, but he has to start moving with it. Protobell to escape, but caught here again by the Mega Adhesive. Liberty have to start backing away.
They don't quite manage to take a fight, but that's going to be a 9,000 gold lead right now for Immortals. The dragon is spawning soon. It's going to be a Cloud. I don't believe that's the Elder, right?
No, it's just a regular Cloud Drake.
So honestly, Liberty right now, I think you're happy to give that one up. Honestly, if you see Immortals go for Dragon, maybe you just try to YOLO Baron. At least you would trade farm on the top side of the map. At least you would trade towers. That's what Liberty are calling for right now. Good job. maybe you really do YOLO the Baron. I feel like Lucian, Jax, you can try.
But Immortals very quickly identifying this and running over to the top side.
don't
Spot
care.
out vision of Hoon. Hoon's coming in for the flank
Oh,
angle.
he's
Chanting Crystal Arrow flashes, dodges it, but it lands on the Kinzen instead. And Kinzen now in danger, has to run away. Counter-strike lands on the Hood, but dashing forward boss is now in danger. Mana Freeze goes down, does not have his ultimate up. Immortals will pick up onto the support.
This is a really good set of plays here from Immortals, correctly identifying what Liberty are trying to do and stopping them from trading. Freaks right now, though, he's trying to trade. He's going to try to get the bot lane turrets, but Baron is in the sights of Immortals.
Baron started up. Immortals
is not
have the
getting here
means
in
to take
time.
this one
Wise
down.
TP.
Gumi has the damage, but they back away.
Refund the TP! Refund the TP!
He channels the teleport either way. Joins into the fight. Freaks. Looking for an
Okay, he had no
opportunity.
vision, that's fine. But that's gonna be the Dragon going over to Immortals. As far as things go, it could be a lot worse.
They will not be able to try and steal away the Baron, though. A little bit too ambitious. They will get to clear out some vision for now. Small consolation for this one. Immortals at least, at Liberty at least prevent Immortals from picking up Baron.
Yeah, Liberty right now trying to set up for a death bush, but I think Immortals have the vision. They will not fall for it. The Dragon goes to Immortals. Liberty consolation prize as they close up the gold gap a little bit. I don't think it's quite enough, though.
But very good awareness here on the side of Immortals. Being able to set themselves up to pick up the kill in the top side. And then further beyond that, also identifying the Baron, moving down to the bot side, picking up the Dragon. Series of very good decisions here by Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals are definitely making it work. They have good tempo and they're not letting up on the tempo. This is what we wanted to see from Immortals. They didn't have it in game one. They didn't have it, frankly, for half of the second game too. But now with the lead, they are stepping it up.
The pride of NA, both Immortals and Kangas' beard, they share something in common.
I think Kangas full stop is the pride of NA, not even the beard, just Kangas.
Sure. We take those.
Yeah, we definitely do. And right now, Immortals playing on 3 lanes, trying to pressure every lane at once. And given their gold lead, I think they can do it too. I think they're in no real threat of having a fight started on them. There's a reason Kinzen bought the Proto Bout on Jax, because his team has no engage.
Starting to reach a point where Kona does do significant damage. Something that Liberty definitely do not want to see. There we go, QSS used, but still gets caught, but Jet gets pulled back by the Transcendent Embrace, and it's not looking good for Liberty.
Oh no, that's likely going to be Baron. Boss has so many items, but it doesn't matter when you just get chain CC'd like that.
You have the arrow landing. You have the vision on the Kona,
no.
gets pulled back. He goes into stasis, but his team needs to save him. Kona dashes away. Once again, we see this Dragon flip, dashing forward. Freaks gets a Cyclone down. Immortals take down their first opponents. Kona goes down, Freaks goes down. Kinzen and Mana Freeze watch.
Nothing at all they can do here, and that's gonna be Baron in the sights for Immortals. Last game, Liberty stole it, snuck it away from under the noses of Immortals. Immortals would need to do no such thing, just starts this one off, and they should be able to get it no problem at all.
Immortals identifying the draft, know what needs to be done. Game number 2, looking stronger than ever.
Oh no, 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 why are you recalling there?
One more arrow, for good measure. Hits you with the eye, hits you with the emote.
Pretty cute one at that.
Yeah.
Well, the Elder's gonna be spawning in just a bit too. Immortals, I think honestly, they might not even need it. Should be happy to just really come in and
Okay, wait.
here.
I got this.
Yeah.
So Kangas taught me a new way to do analysis.
Okay.
Play by play. I go, oh, oh,
Oh, but look at that. Oh,
oh.
it's a bit unfortunate there.
That's what I learned from the AD, by the way. Like that's what they've been teaching me.
Teaching you the right stuff there. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Honestly, though, it's such a shame because given the team comp that Liberty have, if that was a full-on 5v5, the Cyclone, the Akali full combo setup like that, could have won it. But they got picked up individually because Immortals playing into what their team comp needs to do. And, yeah, should be able to just close out this one, playing on 3 lanes still. Howlbreaker, Baron minions, Immortals trying to bring us to match point on game 3.
And this is something that Immortals needs to get done. The WNS has had difficulty going against the Brazilian teams, but Liberty here now facing off against a fully scaled up Immortals. We'll see Immortals start to run them down. Ultimates popped here by Letmon, chasing them down under their base. Inhibitors have all fallen at this point.
Boy.
Liberty do not have a man standing that can stop Immortals from picking up game number 2.
Good stuff from Immortals on a very execution reliance calm there. They keep up the tempo and never give Liberty a chance back into that game. I think there's a lot of takeaways from that one, but Immortals tying up the series, definitely going to be happy with their performance in Game 2.
And this is what we want to see here for Immortals, a chance to play out the series against Liberty.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of takeaways for Liberty there. And Immortals as well, right? But for the side of Liberty, I think 2 key points. Don't give away Karma and Singed, I would say.
Yeah, this is too much breakout potential, right?
Way too much.
They're able to do so much with that, and even beyond that, we saw how well they were able to play with the Yash, and we know how there can be weaknesses with that, but being able to identify what needed to be done quite clearly. Yeah. Liberty going into that one with the scaling mindset. Slightly different this time around, right? The Lulu, they did have an idea with the Lulu and the Jax, does not seem to play out.
Just a little bit too slow, right? I feel like Jax has been one of the picks that's been having a difficult time finding wins as well. A little bit too slow, a little bit too figured out, I think, as champion. When you jump in, people know how to just kite you out. And that's an easy solution there for Immortals.
Well, a lot has happened here in game number 2. Immortals have managed to win. They've given Kangas a chance to save his beard. That and also the fact that he has taught me a new way to do my job. And so I've learned how to do the ooze and...
a better one at that.
A better one at that. Kangas, you hear that? So I need you guys to rate that. I need you guys to tell me how well I've done there. So we're going to toss it back over to Kangas so he can break it down and give me an analysis on how I've done.
Let me give you some tips here. Granted, you did it during a replay. I don't
the
think it
replay.
counts if it's on a replay. I think it's got to be actually during the fight.
Got it.
But I did like the style. I think the delivery.
I'm taking notes, so almost pass me stuff to take notes. Okay.
There you go. Perfect. But great cast. We're going to game 3. It's happening. Immortals completely turning it around in game number 2. That was like a 10,000 gold lead.
What a good series, and so much of what happened in game number 2 was the direct inverse of game 1. They swapped styles.
Yeah.
We saw Immortals forcing team fights, and we saw Liberty trying to find picks, trying to isolate players, and kind of the same result, where it turns out that they couldn't split up the team fight comp. It was too difficult to isolate players when the entire composition is built around finding those 5v5s.
Yeah, and it's great the fact that they can activate these 5v5s, air quote, early with the Ash Arrow, sending it from the side lanes, and then boom, guess what? The rest of Immortals are right there and are ready to jump in. There's so many things that can basically layer. You got the Ash Arrow, get the stun, cool. You got the Renekton single stun. You get the flip from the Singed. It just worked out so well.
Riku, Ash firing an arrow.
With voice?
Sure.
Whatcha?
What'd you even say? That's the question.
That's
I
the
think,
sound
I
of
think
the
it's kind of a...
bowstring. Yeah.
Ugh.
You also had a point about the way that the composition actually counters a lot of what Liberty was trying to do.
Yeah, exactly right. Because when we look at Liberty's composition, almost everyone is melee. Almost everyone has a bunch of dashes. Guess what? Look at Immortals' composition. They've got the Singed, mega adhesive glue. And the fact that they have, again, the Olaf just like, yes, I got a lot of targets. Boom, 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 boom. Again, this basically counters the tether coming from Karma. If Kona wants to hide inside the Twilight Shroud and you're basically already tethered, you have no escape.
Yeah.
You're basically already seen. And there's just so many things that work. I love the draft coming from Immortals. This is very strong.
Quick note, she just said boom, 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 and TJ didn't repeat boom once. That's not on brand.
Boom, boom, boom.
There we go. Now
Goodbye.
continue.
Boom.
Okay.
I think that so much of what happened during that game was also all about the Ash. It was all about the fact that you have that cross-map engage. I've been hyping up Ash for a while. I think that she's really good in games like this, where you're into a very mobile enemy that's going to try and engage at various points on the map. And no matter what's happening, you can find fights. But there's another half of that, which is it's very good to land arrows. That's not going to turn fights. You also need to be able to match Liberty on the map when they're rotating to find picks. And who was doing that? Zella. The substitute in here from Cloud9, I think demonstrated his worth in this game. He doesn't get this kind of support when he's playing regionally on Cloud9. Here, given a little bit of early game resources, we saw what he can do with a slight lead. He was always in position to follow up on those arrows. He was always zoning for his team. He was a huge part of that win.
And going back to the narrative that we had set up at the very beginning of draft for Game 2, or I guess maybe at the end of draft, the composition from Liberty was not necessarily built for these big 5v5s, and a couple of those plays, Immortals, they were finding these big moments on the map, but they were grouping up. They were eventually at this point where they can just group as 5, and those 5 champions together are terrifying.
They wanted the skirmish. That's the reason why they had the Lucian. They had the Lulu. They wanted that big disengage, but they also want that firepower when it comes to the 2v2s, the 3v3s. It's just quite unfortunate that, again, Immortals' composition just worked so well against this one.
I want to highlight, you were talking about how well the composition worked. I want to highlight what a bad time it is for a Kali in the Shroud.
Yeah!
You go into Shroud, and the arrow can hit you in the Shroud
Yeah,
quite
that
easily.
too.
The volley will spot you.
The volley will
Shroud.
spot you in the Shroud. You can get spotted by Hawkshot in the Shroud. So basically everything in action.
And Hoon swirling around with the smoke, his own smoke too.
Just dropping all the singed goo.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, you're taking tick damage from that.
Yep.
Karma has a whole bunch of AoE she can throw into the Shroud as well.
Uh-huh.
You can be spotted with the axe throw from Olaf into the Shroud.
So many
It's just
things.
generally a nightmare to beat Akali, and despite it, it wasn't a bad Akali game.
Yeah.
It was just really hard for Conan to find those kills in the late game once all those tools were online, and he was repeatedly having to fight into 5.
And in Pick and Ban during game number 2, we were mostly focused on just the styles of what each team was trying to do, and not necessarily how all those champions interact with each other. So I think Immortals, maybe we didn't give them enough credit, going for a very different style.
liked their draft.
Yeah, their draft is so good because not only can they do both 1-3-1, they can do skirmishes, and they can do 5v5 team fights. That's amazing!
All right, Immortals now even the series 1-1. Yes, TJ.
I want to ask Riku really quickly.
What's up?
Can they do it? Are you a converted IMT fan?
Should I say yes or no, or depends on the draft? Can I say depends on the draft?
I'll walk off camera.
I think I need it right now.
Okay, I'll commit. Liberty.
Ah! Doubling down. Oh.
I just said
but this is-
Liberty!
yeah,
It's wrong- it's
also
honorary.
backwards.
Okay, okay.
All right. We'll flip it around. We gotta do it justice. There
Okay.
we go.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, so we're still sticking with Liberty. How are they gonna do it if we're going into a game 3?
Okay, I changed my mind. Immortals!
Oh!
Immortals!
Give me the
Immortals!
hat back.
Okay.
Why is now that she's saying Immortals? I feel like she's wearing. Okay, but explain it. Immortals, and if you're pivoting now, why are they favored going into game 3?
Okay, I feel like getting that big early game again and snowballing, I think they have it. As long as they have the draft, they have to do this again. Big 5v5 skirmish, 1-3-1. If they combine that all of their strengths, I think that's a sealed deal.
Okay, TJ, is there any hope for Liberty, or are you still on the Immortals train? Or wait, you were also on the Liberty train. So are you
I
jumping
was.
ship?
I was always on the Liberty train,
Yep.
and I'm staying on it. I don't believe there's going to be another game like that. I think it's going to be very easy for them to focus in on what they do best, draft a team fighting comp, go back to their basics. I will be very surprised if there's another risky swing taken with a pick composition, with a side lane composition.
And the Lulu pick in particular, if that was the Thresh.
Yeah.
It's gonna just
Yeah.
make crazy things happen. Imagine some of those differences in draft. We see the players taken to the stage, and one of the things that shocked me it was how casual Immortals was after that game. They weren't excited. They weren't jumping up and down. We always see Liberty get so excited. And when I talked to Immortals earlier on in the tournament, they said our goal against Liberty is we're going to give more energy after we beat them than they gave when they beat Sentinels.
I'm so
That
excited
was
for
what
that.
I heard from the players themselves.
Give you the
Not
answer,
game
Steve
2.
Kangas. They haven't won yet. And they
That's
know it.
true.
This is a very experienced team. Hoon has played on the international stage before. Coach Pugh has played internationally with North America before in another mobile esport. This is a very experienced team that knows they have not done the work yet. They need to keep their heads down, stay focused, and get into this game 3.
Got to stick with it, but it's 1-1. It can go either way. It
Elimination
doesn't
game.
get more dramatic than this. North America versus Brazil. One game to decide your fate at Icons. With that said, let's send it back to Grandin and Omo for game 3.
One more game between Immortals and Liberty to take it all to keep their run going in the Icons Global Championship. I'm Brandon. With me here is Omo as we get prepared for the draft. Final game, final series of the day.
And final game of this round of games as well, Brandon. That's something to keep. Actually, no, not quite. Well, of the
Almost,
elimination day
almost.
today. I'm losing track of what's going on here. We've seen so many teams pass by our eyes here today.
Fine, I'll give you that much because we've already called half the teams.
Yes, exactly.
This is
It's a big step forward still.
as we get closer. Tomorrow, we're down to the last 8 teams. That's it.
Boy.
That's it.
Oh boy.
We've had some heartbreaks for sure coming up until here, but now, between Liberty and Immortals, we need to see which team is going to be able to keep their run going. Immortals, the last team for the WNS, need to make a stand.
They do. They really need to make a stand, and that stand happens right now in this third and final match against Liberty. And Liberty as well. Game 1, it wasn't the most convincing. They had some good ideas. They had some sneaky plays. They punished Immortals where it counted. But I feel like what really set those two games apart was the draft. When you have some early game power, when you have some mid game power, you tend to excel. It seems like that's the trend of the series. Liberty starting off with cocky. That's power with the package.
If you get 1 kill before 10 minutes, I think you've already won the early game here, Omo.
Yeah, it's been a very slow series between these two teams. And like our Death said as well, right? A lot of stakes here. Not just qualification to the next round, not just staying alive in Icons, also regional pride. Keep in mind, Immortals, the last team, the last hope from NA outside of Kangus's Beard here. And I like this ban from Immortals. Get rid of that cinch pick.
And on the side of Liberty, of course, when you think about what they have as well, Omega's still a team fighting for the knockout stage, but increasing their odds would be amazing, no doubt, here for Liberty.
And of course, Omega play against Flash Wolves tomorrow too, so that's going to be another exciting matchup for the Brazilian fans at home.
Absolutely. So something to watch out for and to look out for. As we continue to go into this one, the Kazakhs and Ziggs for Immortals. Okay, sure. You know, we talk so much about having this mid-game power, and the Kazakhs kind of gives you that. But we think about the Ziggs. He's going to go firmly in the late game. He's here to help you clear out waves. Match that Corki a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah, and he also denied a potential combination of Cocky Ziggs, the double poke that FPX especially has been very fond of running. And I like this from Liberty. It feels like they're setting themselves up for success here. Manfred's is back on his trash pickup here.
And they managed to win with that in game number 1. So it is something to worry about. Manfred on the Lulu not even find the same level of success.
Yeah, not at all.
But on this thresh, he is so active. They get the Jax now too.
But why? Why are you still stuck on that Jax pick? You could play Olaf here.
Why are you a doubter?
I just feel like
Jax about to show you what's up here, Omo.
You see, I have a way to describe Jax in the context of the Icons meta right now.
Sure.
He's a win more champion. In a situation where you were gonna win anyway, you win more because you have Jax. But is he ever gonna win you the game? I mean, probably if he gets the 5 items, but how often have we seen that? I don't think we've seen that more than once or twice, where Jax was actually the champion that won a team a game, rather than just being a win more champion.
Well, Liberty have the opportunity to show us that right now. Kinzin with that chance. Last game, not able to find the kind of tempo that they needed to. Lemon doing an amazing job with the Olaf. But this time around with the Kazakhs, a different matchup. Well, we know how the Kazakhs Jax matchups kind of go in the jungle, right?
Yeah, Kazakhs definitely gets a lead in that one. He has better tempo, he has better clear speeds, better playmaking potential in the early stages. Very easy to just outplay the Jax as well if they run into each other. But I like Immortals comp so far. They have a lot of win conditions. They have the team fighting tools from the Wukong, from the Ziggs. They have the Kazakhs to clean up team fights. It's looking good so far yet again for Immortals.
They need to decide what they want to try and get done here. They ban away a lot of the champions towards the top side. Freaks champion pool being targeted. The Riven, the Renekton. So now, likely going down to a couple of bruises. But I think Liberty are going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about what Liberty wants to pick up right now, I think a champion for Kona and a champion for Freaks. And if you break that down, what does it really mean for you here? What are the best champion options available? I think maybe a Garen for Freaks could be pretty good here. Other than that, oh, maybe a Darius. That sets you up for a Darius, I think.
Yeah. Well, looking at maybe a Darius angle here for Liberty. Immortals have again played a novelty. I mean, last game we just saw them play the Yash.
Is this our first Dr. Mundo, Grandin?
I think this might be the first Dr. Mundo.
Dr. Mundo coming in to play the mad scientist of Immortals. I like this for a couple of reasons. You're good against the trash. You can block his hooks, block his plays, and you are the frontliner that Immortals needs right now. More power to run in. But I said Darius. Liberty said, you know what? I'll do you one better. We go Fiora.
A very big difference between the Fiora and the Darius.
But they do the same thing. They're tank killers, Grandin.
Sure, they are tank killers, but you think about what Liberty have here. They have a lot of pickup potential, but who do they have to get the fight started? Do they have the crowd control? Liberty don't have that with the Fiora.
I really like the Fiora pick in isolation. And then you're right? You look at the context of the whole team. You have Fiora, you have Jax, now you have Zed as well. You're just all in on split push on side lane. And then what's your wave clear mid? How are you gonna...
You kill, you win.
Well, that's Liberty's win condition right now, right?
The game
kill
plan.
hero. See champion, kill champion, win game.
Exactly. Immortals, they can make a decision now, all right? We see 5 on the side of Liberty. We can decide what we want to try and play for. Do we play something tankier, something with more survivability, so we can live through the Zed, through the Jax, through the Fiora? I guess the Diana kind of
That's
is
a
it.
pretty good matchup in isolation against the Zed, but then you look at the other champions that he's playing against. Diana doesn't have a good time against Jax. Diana doesn't have a good time against Fiora. The draft was looking good for Immortals, but that last pick on Diana, I feel like that's a bit wasted. You could have had a better option there.
Maybe something could have gone better into the mid lane, but something that Immortals are comfortable with. The Diana, something Hoon has played a lot of. They bring a lot of experience in the mid lane with Hoon back on the team again. Back to this roster. This is a chance for Immortals to play it out. Liberty, they've also gone for a composition that looks wholly part of the game plan.
So it's a Mundo support.
This looks to me, Omo, like Liberty have gone, we are going to play to our own individual power.
Wait, I just realized that it's a Mundo support, Brandon. They have no other support champion. It has to be Mundo support and Wukong top. Okay.
Yeah.
Mundo Ziggs is actually not a bad lane. That is actually pretty cool because Mundo in isolation against the trash, you block out on a lot of CC and you're effectively a double poke lane. The cleavers, the bombs. Bit of an odd combo, but yeah.
Let's see if Immortals can make it done with the Mundo in the support role and the rest of the team in the composition. Last chance here for Immortals.
Last chance here for Liberty as well, Grant, and you can't forget that. And like you said about Liberty's comp, it feels like they've thrown the book out the window. They're going full solo queue here, mechanics max.
There are no rules. Not anymore. Oh, that's adorable.
Love that skin.
I wanted to sing a little song, but I don't think I can.
That's the lane, by the way. It's honestly a very frustrating lane to play against.
A lot of poke damage, being able to deal with relatively short range on the side of Boss and Mana Frieze.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that you don't have a Aerie on Mundo. I think double Aerie would actually be really nice for the laning phase. Sure, it's kind of rough outside of it, but it's good for lane.
Well, Liberty will look to try and set themselves up. You'd have so many aggressive options. The Fiora, the
Look
Zed
at that!
do a lot here. The poke out from Immortals' bot lane.
I love that for Charm. It's actually a really good lane. Like, you might think Mundo Ziggs, but that's what we're talking about, double poke. And then you think, what are Liberty really gonna do to you? How can Trash engage on you? Hook, flay, right? He has to walk up, hook, flay you. If you walk up into a Mundo, you walk up into a Ziggs, you're gonna eat half a health bar in damage, in poke damage. And if you try to CC a Mundo, his passive kicks in, you can't CC him. It's actually a really smart draw.
I mean, it gives them a lot of space, right? So Liberty kind of have to watch out for what happens here on the rest of the map. Gensin, obviously, is not going to have much success if he goes into the bot side. So frankly, I think he's just going to keep farming out. I think the question now is how Lepmon intends to make use of this early kind of tempo he has over the Jax.
Yeah, the early tempo is good as well here because your bot lane has a lead. Because your Dragon lane has a lead. That's a sector of the jungle, a sector of the map that you can play around for the future, for the foreseeable future. And something we forgot to mention as well, because you flex the Mundo to support, you get a decent matchup in Baron lane. They don't get a free Fiora into Mundo matchup. Immortals, really smart draft, using this now to stack and dive. Love this. Good job, Immortals.
4 members down to the bot, and Lepmon coming down with Hoon in tow. They get the slow onto Mana Frieze, but I don't think a kill can happen here.
Not quite.
Minion waves to be cleared, turrets to be picked up.
This does nothing.
Gets a leap out.
He actually left on the spot, but we don't talk about that.
And Immortals just get the back away.
Yeah, Immortals, just like that, they eked out close to 1,000 gold advantage already. It's a pretty good trade from them. It's a pretty good set of plays from them. And this seems like something Immortals have clearly pre-planned. Oh no, please no.
Cancel wolf.
Please no! That is so big because he canceled the mid laner's base. Kona has to run back to mid to catch that wave. And he's so low. It's so dangerous right now. I do not like this. Kona misses so much farm, Grandin.
He's close to level 5, but it hasn't hit it yet. Hoon, on the other hand, has. And so we get to see Hoon get closer towards his Rod of Ages earlier,
boy.
and before we can see Kona come up with his damage item.
You know, if you look at the gold charts right now, you might be saying, you know, Kona missed a lot of farm in mid lane. Why is he not that far behind Hoon? Because he ate all the bot lane farm. Look at how much gold Boss is behind Hoon.
And he's going to go back down bot again.
Okay, interesting. We're setting up the split lanes already.
A little bit early. Generally, you
Early.
don't see teams do this early on. Before the objectives spawn up, you also want to be able to recall in time.
Yeah.
Come back in and start fighting for either the Dragon or the Rift Herald.
I mean, this isn't a bad thing for either one of these teams. It's just a little bit interesting here. I like Zello's first item pickup on the Bramble Vest as well. I think that's going to help him a lot in this matchup.
And something I think was really interesting that the desk brought up was the fact that, you know, Brazil has done so well against NA before. A very nice pickup down the bot side. Hoon has to pop his ultimate. The moonfall comes across. But it's
that
first
took
blood
the kill?
over Liberty.
My heart nearly stopped when Menofidze's hook was flying in. If he took the kill, I would be devastated for Liberty.
We'll have to see if Immortals are able to trade back towards the top side. Freaks uses the repulse early. They flash forward. They are looking for the kill here and now, and they get it. A trade on both sides, top for bottom.
Freaks with a very interesting repulse there. He kind of just debated himself, and Immortals came in, traded the kill. Both junglers getting some gold in their pockets. They're going to be very happy with that one. And a minute to go until the dragon fights. What does that mean, Grandin? Ultimates will be back up again. We're going to see a big brawl, I hope.
Hopefully that is the case.
Hopefully.
But we have seen how that can differ from reality.
You know, okay, hear me out here. BRU game 1 and 2, they fought every objective. But in
Sure.
game 3, they played it slow. IMT Liberty, game 1 and 2, they did not fight any objective. They traded everything. So that means game 3, they're going to fight.
Oh,
Surely. That's how it works, isn't it?
historicism.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, when you use like previous history to back up the future claims.
I just call it a smart claim.
Sure, with analysis, I suppose. Well,
20 seconds to go, they're going to dive Hoon.
yeah, once again, they managed to get
No
a dive
way.
onto him last time, but this time around, he's been isolated or, well, spotted out before that can happen. No minion wave crashing in. Of course, Charm is just going to keep doing damage to the cleavers. Very annoying. Oh, I suppose I should say
So
the
annoying.
suitcases.
Yeah, it's a suitcases now. It's no longer a cleaver. Mundo is no longer a doctor.
Oh.
He's a businessman now.
Hello.
But you can't cleaver past the dragon, really, so.
Spots him out. Looks like it's a dragon trade for the Rift Herald. You were talking about a fight, but the fight happens at the bot side. Instead, Hood goes down.
What?
Another kill over to Kona. Successful Zed plays coming across. Dragon does hit over to Kinzin, but he loses his life in the process. Gumi has to stop flashing away because the package is in tow and coming. Charm starts running back towards Lepmon, and Lepmon, they're waiting, so Liberty cannot pursue for the kill.
What a series of events. I'm not sure what just happened. First of all, Hoon got taken down solo bolo by Kona. And then Charm doing a great job keeping Kinzin low, poking him out on the dragon. But Gume came in, got hooked, didn't die, but they did kill Kinzin. Okay, so let's take track of where the game is right now. Dragon scaling advantage firmly in the court of Liberty. But Immortals, once again, tempo is on their side. But Hoon not having a great game this time.
I mean, we think about what happens here. You generally need the Crystalline Reflector to start being able to deal with a lot of the 80 damage
Need
from
the Zhonya's here.
the Zed, from the Jax, from the Fiora. Zonya's as well. He does have to play the Steel Traps now, so at least some additional resistances. But it's not going to look good. Like, a lot of the power that Hoon is going to have is going to be through joining into team fights and hitting those big ultimates.
Yeah, Hoon is going to be very reliant on landing that, but Exhaust in the hands of Boss will make it pretty difficult.
Wonderful clone there from Zello to block away the hook, but still on the turret now. Good damage on the Menofrize. Menofrize might go down, has to flash away. The heal not available for him.
Lepmon!
Kinzin comes through, gets him the first kill on the Zello to trade back with Menofrize, but a second kill diving after Kinzin will make it work for
And
Liberty.
it's all Kona. Last Assassin didn't work out for him. The Ninja Akali. Not a great showing, honestly. But on the Zed, he is showing up, making the plays work individually. 100% kill participation for Liberty is on the Zed.
They start this one off by catching the clone onto Zello, and despite the fact that Lemon is nearby, they still went for the dive.
Yeah, Zello did a pretty good job with the barrier, with the Cyclone to slow down the play. But Lepmon gets the isolation,
Ooh.
tries to clean it up, but he goes a bit too deep. And that ultimate from Kona will just clean him out.
I don't think anyone could have seen that one coming,
not
right?
at all.
The amount of damage for the isolation strikes.
Well, good news for Immortals is they still have the Rift Herald in their pocket. Where do they choose to use that one? Gold is still even, but for a scaling team comp like Liberty, even is good. Even is a great thing.
Another kill potentially
No
here.
way.
Zello up at the top side, few
No.
auto attacks. Kona running away with the game.
We thought that it was going to be Freaks on Fiora that runs away with the game, but it's Kona on Zach.
Riku, your powers are too strong.
What did she say? What did she do?
She voted for Immortals.
No!
She's changed the plan. She flipped the script.
Kinzin messed up. He flashed. He wanted to leap strike onto Lepmon, but he leap strike. I'm losing track of words. He leaped. What's
So
the process of
frustrated.
leap strike?
Left.
Lap strike. But Lep
He used his Leap Strike.
Okay, no, I want to figure this out right now. We have a bit of time. Is the past tense of leap strike left struck? What would it be?
I would not go that far.
Would you say he leap strike? That's not right.
he used his Leap
No,
Strike?
figure it out with me, Grandin.
No,
You're a
I would
nerd.
just say he used
Okay,
his
then
Leap
from
Strike.
now on, I will say
erroneously.
I forgot what. He left struck. Okay, that's what I'm going to say from now on.
I feel like we need TJ for this. I feel
we'll
like
figure it
TJ
out.
would have the answer for this.
Yeah, he's got the linguistics.
Can we save this question for TJ?
Well, he's on the desk later, so TJ, just give us the answer. Is it left struck?
An engage coming through here for Liberty. They managed to get the play
Look at
across
Kona.
once again. Kona looking for an assassination in the back lines. Will not be able to get the kill due to the hourglass. But
Yeah.
still Liberty in full force, showing up in the mid lane.
So it's a bit of a roller coaster with the power of Zed, right? Early stages, no one has hourglasses. You're extremely strong. And out and shurikens landed basically will spell out a kill. Once you hit the mid-game stages, that's a bit of a dip in your power. That's where the hourglasses get completed. That's where you kind of lose some of the damage potential because everyone just Jonyas your combo. But the problem is, once you get to the late game, Zed out is on such a short cooldown that when they Jonyas, before their Jonyas comes back up, you get to Zed out again. You get to that lock again.
Oh please. Oh please. Charm. You don't do this. You cannot do this. Very nice pickup here by Liberty as they move on to the Rift Herald as well. Immortals. I mean, you can start to see now some issues starting to arise.
Yeah, they're getting caught out. They're not on the same page, Grandin.
They were able to deal with a lot of the early threats, but now with the pressure coming in from Kona, you have to be careful for this. Mano Frieze actually ends up making a mistake of his own, walking too far forward. He thought he had Kins in there backing it up. He thought he had some safety, but he goes down instead.
So deep right now, though, Kinzin and Mano Frieze.
The Immortals chase after this one. The answer turns out to be no. Dragon is coming up in about 10 seconds, though. Kona in the bot side, working on the turret.
Good news is Mano Frieze will be back up for that one. Bad news, though. Actually, there's no real bad news. It's still a pretty even game state.
Sure.
Package is up for boss. That's gonna be big.
I guess that is how. I guess
Not bad.
that is how it goes. Package was actually up for a long time.
But Liberty are so late yet again.
They finally go for it. Okay. Dragon's up. Immortals are there first. Kona trying to take down Cham, but Cham is still very
you don't
tanky. The Budo
contest
has
this.
a lot of HP. Goes, flashes over the wall, gets back in the pit. He's still alive. Huge ultimate out for the Ziggs. Does so much damage. Hoon finally comes online. It's a massive Moonfall. And suddenly Liberty have lost 3 members. Diving in for a 4th. A triple kill for Hoon. Exhaust on the Freaks. He has to make a captain's play against Cham. Pick up the ultimate. Take down the Mundo. But there is no chance. He goes down. A prime gaming ace for the hope of NA.
And a 5-0 at that too, Grandin. What went wrong there? Liberty were too late to the fight, and they still tried to contest it. Deathmark was blown on Charm. Freaks and Kinzin both not in a position to fight. We just said that Jax is too slow. Well, paired that with a Fiora, and you got 2 times of too slow. Everything gets used onto Charm there. Coca-Cola pop-off play goes to Immortals for a good reason. Look at how they all funnel into the Ziggs. Death, Super Mega Death Rocket, Inferno Bomb, whatever it is, cleans them all up.
Zello narrowly survives there.
Yeah, the
The last auto attack coming across.
Freaks trying for the hero play, but Yara just not strong enough at this point in the game. Just Jax is a slow champion. Paired it with a Fiora.
There we go. That's their clap. There we go.
They know they've won it.
They've
this
got
is
it on
basically
tempo.
it for Immortals. I think TJ, Kangas, and all the NA fans at home breathe a sigh of relief after this.
No, I'm pretty sure TJ is like doing it like ironically, you know.
What do you
like,
mean?
Like he's wearing the Kangas hat ironically.
TJ would never do something ironic.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not the kind of person he is.
sure.
Yeah,
Sarcastically?
no, he definitely would.
Sure, he's wearing it sarcastically. I think
No,
that's what-
ironically. I was just memeing about that. Granted, it's a joke. Let me have it, man. I know I've made some bad jokes today, but come on.
I don't know
Let
if
me
I
have
can
a
do that.
crumb.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay, well, let's see if Immortals can pull off this dive. I don't think Freaks is strong enough.
Gets isolated once again. He leaves the safety of his turret. That gives Immortals the chance to chase after a kill. Second Cyclone's use gets the knock-up. Awaits out the repulse.
Look at Chom. Look at that Mundo. Hard to
Mundo
kill.
support tech working out Hoon comes in once again, gets the catch onto the Koggy boss.
Huge rocket.
In danger. Hoon might go down, but he has the hourglass to buy some time. Kill goes over the corner, but the exhaust onto Kinzen. They need to take down Gumi.
Nice!
Like going back to Living Shadow, but Lamont right there waiting for the Zed to come back. 4 more kills for Immortals.
Gume with the perfect timing on the stopwatch as well. Baits out every single spell from Kona. And that's not the Rift Herald they're looking at, granted. It's Baron Nash at 13 minutes in the game.
I wanted to make a joke about Mundo, like corporate Mundo.
What about it? What's the joke?
That's okay, I'll save it. I'll save it. I'm sure I have a chance. I have a chance for this. Liberty trying to contest with this one. Teleport's being picked out now, but the Baron has already gone down. Can they hold them in place? Immortals respecting Liberty. Back out, flash over the walls.
It's 100% the right play to flash over the wall there. It's just a bit
Funny to
humorous
see, right?
look at. Yeah, it's a little bit funny. It's a bit cute. But if you look at Liberty right now, well, we take a look at the replay first. Let's see how this whole thing went down. Charm, Dr. Mundo, what's the joke, Brandon?
No, I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to it.
Let's look at Hoon right now. He gets in with a great play, but this is one of the weaknesses of Diana. Exhaust shuts you down so easily. Not too sure where Boss used the Valkyrie because he didn't have it there. Nice knife from Charm on the briefcase as well. And look at this timing. Gume holds his Jonius until the very, very last second. Kona nearly gets the pickup anyway, but still, Gume outplayed him there.
Looking at a 2 versus
So
1
much
onto
damage.
Zello.
He outs the wrong thing because of the stopwatch.
Death mark onto the wrong target. Zello might be able to jump back, Nimbus strike over onto Kona, but Kona dashes away with the Living Shadow. The rest of his team off by the top side.
See, this is a mistake that teams usually make. The timing on your side lane pushes need to be synced up. If you want to be pushing a wave as the 1 in the 4-1 or the 3-1-1, you need to make sure the rest of your team is ready to hit turrets when you do.
Oh, they got a turret.
Well, they did, but they would have gotten it regardless. Zello didn't have to die for it.
All right, Charm coming in here. Kinzin jumping on, looking for the counter strike. Lemon with the solo kill onto Kona. Hoon hits a big ultimate, but has to flash away. Gets caught by the package. Charm goes down. Looking at the second kill, and Hoon does so as well.
But the top lane turret, the Baron lane turret, is getting extremely low here. The creep stick down? Not quite. Very low, though.
Lemon finds a little bit of space in the bot side as a result of this one as well. The Dragon coming up in 30 seconds.
Lemon has been a monster this game. We talked about how Kona was taking over the game, but no, it's the wrong assassin. It's actually Lemon who's been making things work here. This is, oh, look at this. This is just a horror movie moment. You want to recall, you want to go home, you dodge the bomb, flying right over your head. And guess what? Guess who's here? It's Kha'Zix. It's Lemon. He flashes as well to secure that one.
Better safe than sorry, they always say.
I guess.
And that kill could be the difference, you know. I don't know the difference in what, but could be.
Well, it's very much an Immortals controlled game state right now. The WNS #1 seed, the lost hope for North America. They look like they've got it in the back. They look like they might survive another day. They look like they might make it into the top 12 teams at Icons.
9,000 gold up. Freaks over by the back of his pit. Still has the dash, so he should be able to get away. The lunge is available. Dragon is here, but Immortals take
Liberty.
control of it.
Liberty just need more time. Jax is not ready to fight. Yora's not ready to fight. Zed is strong, but so what? It's not enough, and Immortals run the show.
Okay, Charm looking for something again. Trying to pick up some slow.
Okay, pretty decent amount of damage. Not mind-blowing, but decent. It's starting to get there, the Ziggs. Once he gets the Void stuff, maybe.
We might have to see how Liberty intend to respond to
Oh
that
my
one.
god, can someone deal with the top wave?
Generally, that's going to be with the Zed. But Kona having a difficult time trying to assassinate the backline now.
Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult, right? The Jonias are being completed, the Hourglasses are coming in. It's gonna be difficult. He's not quite at the break point where you basically have your out up constantly. Actually, I think he is. He's basically at the point where his out is always up. Lemon could have tried to chunk him out there, but all good. Just
The
get
rest
to it.
of Liberty nearby, making the safe play.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean,
better safe than sorry.
it's basically a one game state, right? No need to take these risks. That's completely fine. You don't want to risk giving Kinzen and the boys a chance to take over the Baron as well. Pretty sneaky.
Moving in onto Freaks,
No!
picks up the lantern, but can he get away? Manafrize very beautifully keeps him alive, but
Chop,
Chom
though,
running
chop,
down
chop,
so
chop.
quickly. The Cleaver
Flashing
won't be able
knight,
to connect
flashing knight.
initially. Ultimate comes through here. Gume won't be able to get it. The Ignite onto Freaks. Down
It's not
passage,
enough.
the shield's still there. Freaks lives.
Frieze has been keeping him alive, and he wants Zello now.
Hunting after the kill onto the Wukong. The
too
Nimbus
tanky,
strike
too
back
tanky.
onto the minions. Charm starts to run after Kona. Kinzen needs to run. Kona needs to run.
Kona's just run out of damage at this point. Zello, I believe, has the Death's Dance. He's a very, very tanky monkey. No Death's Dance, but Black Cleaver and Bramble Vest, sorry, and a Chain Vest as well. So Death's Dance is coming. Oh no, it's just gonna be a GA.
This is stressful here, Omo. I feel some pressure.
Yeah, it's stressful, but it's stressful for Liberty. They have to desperately try to make plays now. It's a game of cat and mouse. If the game state progresses as it is going right now, Immortals will eventually win. Well, I say that, but Fiora and Jax will come aligned at some point. For the next couple of minutes, Immortals are in the driver's seat. But if it goes 5-6 minutes, maybe Liberty have a chance to come back in it. We're just waiting for the Elder right now. That's the game winner for Immortals. They don't want to flip Baron.
Package picked up here by Liberty. They want to play this one safe. Baron at risk. They do not want to give this one away.
This is a bit of an odd package time right now. There's no real objective to fight for unless you think Immortals might try to rush the Baron.
And they very well might. I mean, they still have a lot of damage on the Kazakhs. Full build at this point. Liberty over by the side. Spot them up. Spot them out. Charm nearby.
Very scary situation to be in.
Both
But look
sides
at the
dancing
flank.
around
Look at
this.
where Lemon is.
One coming in. Lemon coming in as
Oh,
well.
that's
The
huge.
ultimate comes through from Gume to get the first
Wow,
kill. One
Gume.
takedown. A second takedown onto Kinzin.
Resets.
Running them over. It's a hostile takeover. And Mundo is the boss now.
That's it. The resets come in from Lemon. And Immortals, I think they've done it, Grendon.
There's only one man still standing. Kona off on the side. Immortals, the hope for NA. Live to fight another day.
And a reverse sweep in that series for Immortals as well. A heartbreaker for Liberty. You can see them with their face in their hands at the end of that one. And honestly, who can blame them, right? They've had such a Cinderella run here for the Wild Tour, for the Brazilian region. Liberty, fantastic showing throughout the Icons. I think they should be proud of what they've done so far. Number 3 seed, I believe, coming out of the Brazilian region, losing to the number 1 seed from WNS. It's not a shameful loss at all. They've done so much throughout this tournament. They've won so many of our hearts. I think Liberty should be proud of what they've done here.
An amazing team fights, an amazing presence. I think Liberty here have managed to build some household names for sure.
Yeah.
I can't not count the number of times we've said Mano Frieze so far on the Icons broadcast. But well deserved there. And Immortals, the victors of this series, get another chance tomorrow to keep their run going.
Yeah, Immortals definitely look a lot better in games 2 and 3 than they did in game 1. They seem to have worked out the kinks. They look like they have a good idea, a good understanding of how they like to draft, how they want to draft. What did I miss?
He made the bow first before the rest.
Yeah, a good understanding of how and why they want to draft. Well,
Kudos a little bit desynced for the rest. They're still shaking.
in game as well.
Yeah. He did amazingly in-game.
Yeah.
But felt the pressure for sure.
Yeah, definitely some relief there on the side of Immortals. They live to fight another day.
We can hear the shouts, by the way. The excitement from Immortals.
The second series win for North America here at Icons. They're making it work.
But still a long way to go. One more contender in front of them before they manage to make it into the knockouts. But a good showing and a good start for the good end for the day.
To believe that's going to be Roaster Y waiting for them tomorrow as well. Let's see if they can take down the Korean Titans, number 1 seed from the WCK, who also have been looking a lot better recently. So that's another exciting matchup to look out for.
No doubt, difficult moment here for Liberty, but
really.
incredibly well played for them nonetheless.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but the contrast between the shots is just... Commiserations to Liberty. And congratulations to Immortal.
Well, Kangus's beard survives here as well, so I guess we have a good day for us going.
Good day for NA.
Good job, Riku.
well-fought
You
series.
switched in the right moment. You switched right on time.
Exactly. Riku hopped on the train.
Yeah.
A well-fought series went to the very end, and Immortals clutched it out. Are you happy that you pivoted?
Oh yeah, I'm happy I pivoted. Thank you for like the sorting hat earlier. PJ.
It seemed like you were making mistakes, so I put the hat on your head and we all went from there.
It helped
Wow.
with the decision making
True.
at that point. Although, interesting enough, TJ stuck with Liberty
Yeah.
towards the end. And to their credit, Liberty still, being down 10,000 gold,
Yeah.
made Immortals work for that victory.
Easily the best series of the day. Both those teams, I think, stepped above what we expected from them. You could see IMT celebrating there in the hallway. I think that's the most. I was thinking about it as we were getting our first look at it. I've seen Pew compete at multiple different events. This is the second event I've seen him compete at as a coach. I think that is the most I have ever seen out of Pew. He's normally like this very reserved, analytical mind on the team. He's running down that hallway cheering with the rest of them because this was a hard-fought win, and they earned it.
First international victory for North America against Brazil. That is how strong that region is. It's a big moment for the region of the WNS.
It is. Not only they get, NA gets to survive another day, but they also managed to get revenge for Sentinels up against Liberty at the play-in.
Reverse sweeping too.
That too. It's such a huge win for NA.
And it's crazy how they did it too, because very unique drafts for Immortals.
Well, I think this game 3 was what it all came down to. Both teams kind of settled on a hybrid style, but for IMT, they have the tools they need to split lane, and they have the tools they needed to team fight. We saw some really good team fights from them, which is what I flagged as a potential concern coming into this series. They stepped above and beyond my expectations. Hoon was incredible in this game 3 as that major team fight engaged for the team.
It felt like Immortals started getting confidence. Specifically Hoon on that Diana. He was ready to go in. You saw the coaches there celebrating. And so many of these engages, it's like, let's take Sentinels for an example from the WNS. A lot of their gameplay, it felt like they would go in for a play, but maybe not everybody committed or everybody was on the same page. Here, it wasn't like everyone was of the same mind, but they backed each other up. Charm on the Mundo was being that front line, buying space for everybody, and then they go for plays like this.
Honestly, I want to talk about Charm's Mundo. It created such a big impact during the laning phase that it put Manufritze on the tight leash. It's supposed to be Manufritze basically leashing people, but it was the opposite. Just a lot of poke. Manufritze is so unhealthy before, like, trying to roam. It's just so good, honestly.
And the combination of Charm on the Mundo and Hoon being able to land those defensive Diana engages meant that it was an open field. Oh my god, that's a scream. Can I get like full body? So,
oh yeah, I think you just got
there. That's us.
There it is.
It's you.
This was
a
very intense series. Rafa, I will have it known, he was watching on his phone in the other room, and then he joined us in a little bit here. Wait, do we have our voices also? Charm, why are you dying again? Charm, get out. Okay. He got out of there.
I was gonna say, all of that frontline engage was doing a really good job setting up for the way that Gume was occupying the backline of those fights. Gume has long been one of the best AD carry players in North America. We see him here on Ziggs, upholding that when they need someone to do big team fight damage. He, on the Ziggs, was able to deliver.
Crazy that it came down to the third game, reverse sweep for Immortals, but they pull off the victory. The first win for North America against Brazil. And, you gotta love the Brazilian players. They're hyped when they win. They're emotional when they lose. Either way, hearts go out to the players for competing at the highest level. But only one team can walk away victorious. So let's send it over to Mika to hear from one of the victorious Immortals members.
Hey, thanks guys. I'm here right now with Hoon from Immortals. Congratulations on that win. I mean, it's your first day and you come in with such a strong showing for NA. How does that feel?
I feel great. Yeah, I think we're the only one left for NA, and then I felt so much pressure because I just came here so late. I didn't get enough practice and stuff. I was so worried, but then when we were on the stage, like we're one as a team. So all my worries just gone. I just focused my game, and then
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Happened.
We could definitely feel your energy as well. I'm curious if there are any players out there that catch your eye that you think that you might want to challenge in the next few days? Yeah.
Tomorrow match actually against RY.
Really?
Yeah, I think their mid laner is really good.
Ooh, looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to play against them, yeah.
Nice, nice. Now, of course, there are a lot of North American fans that are very, very proud right now. Do you have a message you want to say out of them?
First of all, when they heard that I was not able to come because I got COVID and stuff, I felt really bad for them, but big shout out to everybody that supported me still and then believed in me. I made it through here, and then, feels great.
We're so happy to have you here, and good that you were able to recover as well. Now, a very, very important thing, this one goes to the analyst desk. You actually save Kangus's beard because he was going to shave it off. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to see that because Kangas without a beard, I don't imagine that. You're welcome.
You're welcome indeed. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Hoon. I appreciate it. I don't know if he's seen me without a beard. Now that I think about it, because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure all my time casting official WNS, I've had it because I started growing it after Horizon Cup.
Well, it's good, because nobody would want to see you without a beard.
He said
hopefully
he
they
can't
don't have to.
imagine. Yeah.
Hoon there, I would flag as one of the most experienced players at this competition. He's been a pro in multiple games. He's represented North America on the global stage. He, of course, has a huge YouTube following as well. I know that whenever you open up like any of the various chat applications, it's full of people being like, "Where's Hoon?
Yep.
Where's Hoon gonna come?" So I'm very happy he made it here, and I'm very happy he was able to deliver when he needed to keep NA alive.
Yeah.
But that wraps up the day of broadcasting. We say goodbye to 4 teams here, so let's go through all of the standings and the rest of the brackets here, starting with Group A. We bid farewell to Leviathan, as we do see now the next matchup happening there. It's so sad to say goodbye to teams.
Yeah,
I know we did it in play-ins already, but man,
It's
it
really
just doesn't feel
different because
great.
you're attached, because you've seen them play already through play-ins and you have to say goodbye to them.
And in Group B, we bid farewell as to Team Queso. Sengoku will match up against RRQ to see who is the final team to make it out of that group.
The last European team falling after a very impressive showing, a surprising showing by many of the European teams over the course of the tournament. Unfortunately, not enough to stay alive in a tough group.
Tough group for them. And now let's take a look at Group C. SCA
This
teams
is-
against each other.
This was so hard to see, right? At Flash Rose BRU, both WCS teams, we get to see one continue but one out. So we only have 3 teams left from the WCS, and they have to face Omega, which basically...
It gets worse!
Yep.
Yeah, I know. They dominated the BRU matchup, so now Flash Rose has to like take revenge against Omega tomorrow.
And of course, that is the last Brazilian team, the very last Wild Tour team still in the tournament after this last group.
Think about that. The number 1 seed from the WBR is still here.
Yeah.
And the number 1 North American seed just went to 3 games against Liberty from the same region. And that's what you see on your screen right now from Group D. Immortals fought tooth and nail against Liberty. WBR, you still have another representative in Omega. And now North America, we have a representative from the WNS up against Rolster Y.
And this match, of course, we will eliminate the last representative from one region, because if it's IMT, last representative from North America, versus Rolster, the last representative from Korea. I think it's fair to say Immortals are exceeding expectations for many people
are.
right now. They're performing very well. Rolster were expected to be contenders to win this entire tournament. They don't want to be in that lower bracket.
They would like to pick up a win. Honestly, what they might be looking at is an easy win up against.
Yeah.
I think that would be a mistake after today.
Yeah, yeah. Cannot
like where you're
underestimate for
at.
sure
I like where
IMT
you're
after
at.
tonight.
But that does it for the days of broadcast. We have one more day of groups. Are we going to let Riku flip the pen? Is that what this is?
I am not confident.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe by the end of this graphic.
No, we got it.
she'll have
Bring
the
it
confidence
back.
by
Bring
now.
it back. Bring it back.
Now, tomorrow, Icons continues, and you don't want to miss a game. It's knockout day for the group stage. 4 matches, 4 more eliminations, but also 4 teams moving on to the knockout stage. We will have our top 8 teams in the world. First up, it's Team Flash versus T1, RRQ versus Sengoku, Omega versus Flash, and closing out the day, it's Rolster Y versus Immortals. That is it from us on the broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to the players for putting on an incredible performance. Group stage continues tomorrow as we send 4 more teams into knockouts. See you there.